getting the pick, #1 on the board. Proctor the Titan, that's who we adore. From the Alabama soil where the legends grow tall. A mountain of muscle, a wall for the ball. Then it's Chris Johnson, a DB, the island is locked. Out in San Diego where the defense was rocked. Pick 158, that's a steal in the light. A lockdown assassin, a shadow in flight. Then the second round Rodriguez, the Red Raider soul. Texas Tech heat, yeah, he's taking control. A linebacker beast with a nose for the play. He's bringing that love Bach thunder our way. Peace to the Finns, yeah, we building the brand. The baddest new brothers in all of the land. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, here the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making a howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line. Everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Weathering the storm, yeah, you heard? Caleb Douglas, Will Cack, Merrick Chris Bell too. Texas Tech speed in the Ohio State view. Louisville Lightning, yeah, the receivers are deep. While the league is just dreaming, we staying out of sleep. Trey Moore, the edge rusher, Texas on the blade. Coming for the quarterback, watch how he's played. Kyle Louis, the LB from Pittsburgh to the Heat. Michael Toff, the safety, making the secondary complete. 5th round fever, we finding the gold. Seidel Troa, the TE, the story untold. Coleman Jr. and Campbell, Missouri to the heart. DJ on the guard, yeah, we tearing the charts. Max Llewellyn, the defensive end from the west. Iowa power, yeah, he's passing the test. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, here the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making a howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line. Everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Yeah, weathering the storm, word up. Word up, aqua and orange for real. 2026, the year of the deal. Proctor, Johnson, Rodriguez, the whole squad, making it happen against all the odds. Peace to the South Beach, peace to the Finns. This is where the new dynasty begins. One love, word up, we out.
What is up, Ben fam? It's your boy Cat in the Hat with your AFC Eastie boys, where we be cooking up the realest and the rawest takes you're gonna find on the internet. And it ain't no different today. Not only we gonna be cooking up takes like Sully be cooking it up in the kitchen over there on draft in the war room on draft night. That's right. We're gonna be cooking up some pork butts on the grill as well. So make sure y'all kick back, relax, get your takes ready, get your comebacks ready, hit that like button and that subscribe button while you're at it. And if you want to join up here in the conversation, y'all know how to do it. Hit that Discord link. You can find it down in the description below. If you have not joined our Discord community yet, I do suggest you do so for sure. It's definitely a great place to be if you want to stay tuned in and plugged in with your AFC boys. It's also how you get up here on the shows. You talk even when we don't have shows. It's also where you want to be if you win any of our giveaways. And speaking of giveaways, the current giveaway we got going on right now, when we hit 500 subscribers, 500, we almost there, ladies and gentlemen. So hit that share button, send it to a friend, send it to a cousin, send it to a coworker, somebody, anybody who likes football. Go ahead and send it their way. We're not just AFC East centric around here, although we do know the most about the AFC East. I do watch all football, so I try and keep you tuned in on everything that's important around the league. So make sure you share it, because we almost have 500. And when we get to 500, we got that nice Mike Gesicki autographed 9x16 photo of his rookie year, hurdling a dude. That's going out to one of you lucky viewers. It's super easy to win. So make sure y'all hit that like button. Y'all hit that subscribe and get out there and you share. But enough about that, right? Let's talk Dolphins. Let's talk some Dolphins while we cook up on the grill. Sully, in my opinion, did a really good job in the draft. We went into the draft with 11 picks. We did gain some extra picks before the draft, but we went into the draft with 11 picks. We ended up coming out of the draft with 13 rookies, 13 draft picks. So Sully was definitely in there cooking. First initial thoughts on the draft was, man, not a bunch of big names, not a bunch of friendly names. But you got to do the digging on these players. You got to look deeper and look at the type of people that Sully wants to bring into this building to develop the culture. Because that's what this whole season coming up for the Miami Dolphins is all about, is developing the culture. It's not about the wins. It's not about the losses. It's not about the outcome for the most part. I mean, yeah, the outcome's always important. But at the end of the day, you know, if you lose a game by 3 points, but you're still building the culture in the locker room, you come out in the next week, like you go into that locker room after that kind of loss, and like you look around the room and you could feel it with everybody, then that's a good sign. That's a sign of building culture. So losses aren't necessarily going to be losses for the Miami Dolphins this year. If you want to look at it from that standpoint, like, and that's how I like to look at things. Like, not everything has to be an L. Yes, you may take an L, but you can turn that L into a W real quick. You got to look at the positives of it, and I hope, and it seems like that's the type of culture that these guys are trying to build into the locker room. Guys that are constantly trying to make themselves better, make their game better, try and elevate those around them. I mean, the ticket countdown is on. We got F1 going on right now at the stadium, to be honest. Depth chart. How they have the depth chart currently. Not updated. Not on their website. Because right now it currently only says Malik Washington first and Taj Washington third, which I know that that's not the case. I know that that's not the case. Get up on ESPN, Jody. I think the grill's about ready for me to throw this pork butt on there. Oh yeah. It's smoky. Let me go get that, baby. Go ahead. If anybody wants to hop up into the Discord, I'll be here. We're gonna be here for a while. All right, here we go. We got us a nice little pork butt all rolled up in here, soaking in some seasonings and some sauce. Nice little special recipe I like to use. Nice and smoky. So anyway, so I got a little bit of dry rub here, some honey garlic dry rub. See, sweet barbecue rub. And then I also mix it in with a little buttery steakhouse from Kinder's, and then put some honey on it, some barbecue sauce on it, soak it in, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then let it rest for about 2.5 hours. Of course, I poked it with fork. Before you do any of that, you got to poke it. Poke it all around the meat so that way it allows the juices and the sauce and everything to soak into it. Then you got it wrapped up in the aluminum foil. Let this baby smoke for about 3, maybe 4 hours. It's gonna be so tender and juicy and tasty. I'll be sharing pictures of the finished product in the Discord afterwards. So make sure if y'all haven't joined into that Discord yet, y'all do so. All right, so let's check this out. Shall we see if the ESPN has an updated depth chart for the Miami Dolphins? All righty. So we're looking at the current depth chart for the Miami Dolphins, the way it stands. We got Malik Willis, QB1, Quinn Ewers, Cam Miller, and we got Devon A-Chain. They have Jalen Wright listed as RB2, Ollie Gordon RB3, Donovan Edwards at RB4. And then wide receiver ones, we got Malik Washington, and then Jalen Tolbert and Caleb Douglas. And then wide receiver twos, you got Chris Bell, Tutu Atwell, Kevin Coleman Jr. Wide receiver threes, you got Theo Weiss Jr., Taj Washington, Paris Marshall Jr., and then wide receiver 1/4 would be AJ Henry. So, in my opinion, I honestly feel like the Dolphins are still pretty weak as far as the wide receiver room goes. Like, I don't see any clear wide receiver ones unless Caleb Douglas and maybe Chris Bell come out this year and really just light it up. I mean, there's always a possibility. You never know, right? It doesn't matter what round you pick up a player in, he could turn out to be the next great thing. So it is question marks there, right? Caleb Douglas or Chris Bell, either one of them could easily come into this league and end up lighting it up and turning into a clear wide receiver one. And if that happens, even better for Sully. You know what I mean? That means this man was cooking up a 4-course meal, 5-course meal up on the smoker. So we could have a wide receiver one. And if that's the case, then our wide receiver room looks even better than what it does now. Because the way that Bobby Slowick is going to run this offense, I feel like we're going to be okay with a bunch of wide receiver twos. No, we're not going to be expecting a bunch of big plays, maybe here and there. You know, Malik Willis might connect with Caleb Douglas or Jalen Tolbert on a deep route for a nice big touchdown that equates to 60, 70 yards or whatever. But we're not going to get a lot of that. What I think we're going to get a lot of is we are going to get a lot of motion. I think we are going to get a lot of pre-snap motion. There's going to be a lot of kind of dinking and ducking, but it's going to be more intermediate and not so much like behind the sticks like we've been seeing for the last couple of years, more so like that 7 to 17 yard range with the types of receivers that we got. Um, and Devon A-Chain, honestly, he's going to be able to help open that up. And the fact that we got Malik Willis that can use the legs, like, we're going to see a completely different team than what we've seen for the last half a decade. So you saying it like that makes it seem way more extreme. What's up, Cap for Life? Um, but yeah, so it's going to be different. And the wide receivers that we have are going to be efficient enough to run the type of offense that Bobby Slope's going to want to run. The question is, can Malik Willis overcome some of his deficiencies? And that being said, his deficiencies and the fact that he wants to tuck it and run. Like, he doesn't necessarily always go through all of his reads. Like, he relies a lot on his legs more than his arms sometimes. Kind of kind of like how Tua kind of like Tua, but not like Tua, if that makes any kind of sense. So Tua would just like, he would go to his one read. If it wasn't there, it was either like a panic ball that went to the ground or way over people's heads, or he just like fell to the ground and took a sack. With Malik Willis, if his read's not there, sometimes he'll just tuck it and he'll run instead of going through the progressions and maybe looking for a different receiver open. So that's his biggest thing that he needs to work on in order for this offense that Bobby Slope is most likely going to be implementing. In order for that to work, he's got to work on that number one. Number one, he's got to work on that. And it can definitely, it's something that can be worked on. We can go back and we can look at Lamar Jackson in his first couple of years in the league and use that as an example. No, I'm not comparing Malik Willis to Lamar Jackson. I'm just comparing where they're at as far as their development goes, right? So when Lamar Jackson came into the league, he used to be a run-first quarterback. His first year, he was running a lot. His second year, like, he trimmed it down a little bit, but he was still running a lot. He was relying more on the legs than relying on the arm. Now, granted, they didn't have a lot of great receivers, but that's going to be the same situation we're going to be in for Malik Willis. So, can he fix that? I think so. I think it's definitely coachable, and I think that Halfley has already noticed that, and he's probably been working on that, and that's why they brought him over here to help build this dynasty. That's right. I said it. This dynasty. Can you hear me, Cap? Cap the Lions. I haven't even really checked the volume. Cap the Lions. Yeah. I haven't even checked the volume. I mean, it's kind of muffled. Doesn't sound great, but yeah. I'm trying this little microphone thing here. I could change it if the volume sucks for you guys. If it's too much to handle, let me know and I can try something different. Let me know and I can try something different. Something else that Malik Washington, Malik Willis needs to work on. I've noticed throughout the years, going back to high school and through college, is his ability to take the snaps when under center. I've noticed it happen only when he's under center. Not really so much like when he's back taking it from shotgun, but when he's under center, he has issues getting the snap. It's happened probably 6, 7 times throughout his career. Like I said, like going all the way back into high school. So I mean, it's not like it's every game he's doing that, but it is a common thing that he has a problem with that he definitely needs to work on. The fact that they brought in Aaron Brewer, who has already worked with Malik Willis previously, um, there should be some chemistry there. So you know, it should be an easy problem for him. But with all that being said, and how these Miami Dolphins look, like if we come out and we win 7, 8, 9 games, like we seriously are talking about the a dynasty in our near future. Sully's been cooking, man. If we go out in year one and we can go 500, above 500, can't tell me there's not a dynasty in our future. Go out there and build this culture the right way. Trust the process. Trust the process. I've been hearing that term ever since Sully and Halfley have entered the building. I've heard it from Sully multiple times. I've heard it from Halfley multiple times. I've heard it from other players. Trust the process. Trust the process. And that's what they've been doing this whole time. And you could tell that they really are trusting the process by not panicking during draft, right? You had Caleb Downs sitting there, and this is a perfect sign of them not panicking, right? You had Caleb Downs sitting there at 11. Easily could have taken him, but you, as Sully, trusting the process to build a dynasty. I mean, they had quotes from Don Shula, from our perfect season, all over the war room, all over the draft room. Like these guys are locked in. These guys are focused on building a dynasty and trusting the process. And you can see it with the very first pick. You had Caleb Downs sitting there. Arguably, everyone would tell you he's one of the best players in the draft. No reason you shouldn't take him. No reason you shouldn't take him. But what did they do? They trusted their process. They traded out of that pick, grabbed a couple extra picks, moved back one spot, let Dallas Cowboys take Caleb Downs, and they went out and got the guy that they wanted. They went and got the guy that they wanted, not the guy that everyone else wanted. That's trusting the process. That's not panicking. That's trusting the process. I've been hearing it oh so much. Let me hear y'all's thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Cooking some pork butt and some epic hot takes with the AFC Boys. Cap the life. Let me hear your thoughts, man. You think we could be reaching a dynasty here in the next 2 to 3 years? Starting the dynasty, right? Not in the dynasty. Starting the dynasty. We win 9 games this year, bro. You're gonna see a Finn fan going crazy, crazy. Like I'm gonna trust the process. I'm gonna trust the process. Yes, I'll question the process. I'll question some of the moves. I may not always agree with some of it, but then if you dig deep into it, you realize that it's just part of the process. Part of the process. Getting rid of all the bad seeds. All the bad seeds. First, obviously, Tua being one of the baddest seeds in the bunch. Jalen Waddle, he was a bad seed. Like, he didn't appear to be a bad seed, but at the same time, he kind of was. There's various things throughout his time here at the Dolphins that kind of showed his true side. Oh yeah. Woo. Get some more fire going though. We can get some more fire going in here though. Like I'll give you one example, right? So everyone remembers the game where Tyreek Hill went out at the end of the game and him saying "I quit" went viral, right? But what a lot of people don't know, and I got this from Tyreek Hill, so take that with a grain of salt. On one of his Twitch streams, I always go on his Twitch streams. I'll ask him questions, he answers them. Um, anyway, so he had mentioned that before that, like as he was coming off the field, Jalen Waddle was kind of like nagging at him, like, "Oh, you quit, bro! You quit, bro! You quit, bro! You quit, bro!" Like nagging it on. So then, yeah, that's where you got like Tyreek Hill saying, "Yeah, I quit," and the clip goes viral. Shortly after, shortly after Tyreek Hill gets traded or let go, not traded. Um, was it Tyreek Hill? I think it was Tyreek Hill. Somebody got let go, and Jalen Waddle comes out with a tweet saying, "Can I be next?" Then he's on the Teron Armstead show, the set. Shout out to Teron Armstead. He's on there talking with Teron, and at one point he's going and he's talking about Mike McDaniel, and like this whole time that he's talking about Mike McDaniel, he's taking shots at him. Yeah, so he's was smiling too while he's doing it. You know what I mean? Doing the every other word all throughout the whole thing. You know, saying that he's a good coach and shit. At one point, he does say that like they were butting heads without directly saying they were butting heads. So you have to go check out the video. I do have the short clipped in my channel, so if you scroll through the shorts, you'll be able to find it. But yeah, so plenty of signs where he was a bad seed, and that's just the off the field problems, right? Like on the field, he constantly dropped passes. He never fought for passes. Like he would quit on plays, like not extend the plays. So he was definitely injury prone. Not the healthiest guy. So the bad seed had to go. All the coaches that have been here throughout the years, make sure y'all smash that like, hit that subscribe. All the coaches that have been here throughout the years, not making these players better, it got all torn down, all the way to the bottom. They even we even tore up the foundation. We even tore up the foundation. We rebuilding this house. This house was originally built in 1876. We're tearing it all the way down. Redoing the foundation, putting new studs up. Your The foundation was Sully and Hapley. The new studs up, all these new coaches, right? We placed everybody. I think there's only what two coaches still on this team that have been here, and Bobby Slowick, he only got here last year, so you can't really like put any of the bad play from the Miami Dolphins over the last X amount of years on him. Like, yeah, it didn't look great last year, but I mean, at the same time, Tua regressed so badly, and we were seeing signs of it even beyond last year. So, what really you're limiting not only Mike McDaniel, but you're also limiting Bobby Slowick in his ability to work with a quarterback that has no care to do better. I mean, he's over at the Falcons right now, and I haven't seen any signs of him trying to get better at his game. So there you go with that. So yeah, so we put the studs up, you know, got all these new coaches in here. We put in nice doors. We got nice doors and windows with our vets that they want to keep around. Devon A Chain, Jordan Brooks, Zach Sealer, you know, and now we just went and we put in all the drywall in the draft, build the house with drywall, bunch of UFDAs. I mean, a bunch of drafted players, but also a bunch of UDFAs as well to fill out the pieces. And now it's time for the final check, right? We got OTAs coming up, training camp coming up. Now we're going to be doing the final check on the house, the final inspection, going through before the week one rolls around. We start kicking it off, man. I want to know y'all's thoughts though. Like, I seriously, I want to know where other Dolphin fans are at right now in their stance with the Miami Dolphins. Do you think that these guys are secretly building a dynasty, or do you think it's just going to be smoke and mirrors? Smoke and mirrors. Yes, burn, burn. It's so inferno. So I know we're also pretty slim on our safety position. I'm not gonna lie, they didn't really go out and get anybody. It has us listed as a base 4-3 defense. Dante Trader Jr., Isaiah Johnson, Jordan Colbert. Then you got Lonnie Johnson Jr., Zane Anderson, Michael Pappy, Omar Brown. But see, so Zane Anderson though, I really like Zane Anderson after we had went through the film and breakdown of all the new players that we had gotten a couple weeks ago. If y'all want, y'all can go back and check it out. We broke down film and everything, and these guys, a lot of these guys were actually really good. The film was really nice, stats are really nice. What I like about Zane Anderson is he's already been working with Jeff Halfley for the last 2 years. Mostly a special teams guy, especially his rookie season was all special teams. But last year he did get work into the defense, like the starting defense. He had plays drawn up for him and everything, and he performed pretty well. So I do expect him to take a step forward this year as far as that goes, and probably be a good solidified starting safety for the Miami Dolphins. Someone that Jeff Halfley is probably gonna lean on, considering like the safety position is like his top priority. That's usually who he likes to use for the green dot and calling the plays and all of that. So I do see Zane Anderson being a favorite in that position. So keep an eye on him throughout training camp. Don't be surprised if he overcomes and takes that number one starting safety role. Do I think that he's ready to be a green dot? I don't know. That actually might end up being either Jordan Brooks or Jacob Rodriguez even could be the green dot, or yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. Because Sean Duggan, our defensive coordinator, who's been working with Hafley for the last couple of years, he worked with him at Boston College, was with him over in Green Bay. He actually stole him and brought him with him over here. Sean Duggan's like a linebacker coach, right? So that's what's going to be good about this defense. And let me look it up, but Sean Duggan has worked with some pretty good linebackers throughout his career. Let me pull all his notes back up. He's had a pretty good career, making immediate impacts in defenses everywhere he went. Everywhere he went. He has spent much of his 11-year coaching career working under Jeff Hafley, joining him at Ohio State, Boston College, and the Green Bay Packers, now with the Dolphins. Give me my stuff. Give me the info. Hold on. Alrighty, so here we go. So from 2011 to 2014, he was a 4-year letter winner and a 2014 team captain. He appeared in 45 games, recording 115 tackles and 2 interceptions. He was teammates with future NFL star Luke Kuechly. Um, Immediately after graduating, he joined the staff as a defensive DA. He helped lead a unit that ranked #1 in the nation in total defense, 254.3 yards allowed per game. In 2016, Duggan took his first full-time role as a linebacker coach for the Rainbow Warriors. Uh, he coached Jelani Tavai in 2016 All Mountain West first team honors. Tavai was later a second-round NFL draft pick. He suffered an injury that year. The coach did. Anyways, 2018 UMass, he guided linebacker Brighton Barr to ECAC Defensive Player of the Year honors in an all-regional selection. 2019 Ohio State, graduate assistant in Columbus, turning point in his career. Uh, it was here that he first worked under Jeff Hafley. Hafley was so impressed by Duggan's big picture understanding that he vowed to hire him if he ever landed a head coaching job. Here we are. Um, why did it? There's a lot more. There should be a lot more. Dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. All right. Isaiah McDuffie at Boston College mentored him to a 107 tackle season and second team All ACC honors before his selection by the Packers. Um, at Boston College in 2015, he helped lead the unit to #1 national ranking in total defense. In 2019, contributed to a defense that led the nation in total defense, passing defense, and yards allowed per play. 2021, while at Boston College, he was named one of the top 30 coaches under 30. So, so yeah, this guy has definitely had one hell of a career, and everywhere that he's gone, he's made immediate impacts in the defense. And when he left the place, there was an immediate retract in the progress that they made. So I think our defense is going to be all right. I think we got the right guys in the organization, in the building, that's going to be coaching up these young players. Miami Dolphins are building a dynasty. We just got to trust the process. We just got to trust the process. We may not agree with the process. We got to trust it. We got to trust it. We're doing it right. I mean, like I said, Sully showed that he trusted the process come draft night with his very first pick, with Caleb Downs sitting there staring him in the face, sitting there staring at him in the face, and he's got Twitter in one ear. You know what I'm saying? Grabbing all the Dolphin fans, grabbing Caleb Downs there, grabbing. He's got all the Dolphin fans in the other ear, grabbing. He's in the back of his mind. He's like, I gotta trust the process, man. Caleb Downs, I can have him. I can have him right here. I can have him right now. I can have him. I'm gonna trust the process. So I'm gonna trade this pick away to the Cowboys. Let me get a couple extra late fifth round picks that I can play with later. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get the guy that helps our process. A guy that's versatile and not just the O line, but gives us makes us more versatile in the offense as a whole, right? Because Peyton Proctor plays every line on the offensive line. Is he going to be great at every position on the offensive line? No. But the more things that you can do, the more value you have in life. Not only that, but have those plays in Wildcat. So that also adds a little extra element into the game. So it's an exciting pick, the Caden Proctor pick. I know the Caleb Downs was the sexy pick, right? That was the sexy pick. That was the pick that everybody wanted. But it wasn't the trust the process pick. No, it wasn't the trust the process pick. If y'all want to hop up here into the Discord and join in on the conversation, if y'all have not joined the Discord already, you can find the link down in the description below. Definitely a great place to be, joining the AFCEASTIEBOYS Discord. We drop a lot of content there. It's also where our fantasy football league is held. If we do giveaways, if you win one of the giveaways, you got to be in the Discord so that we can get a hold of you in order to send out winnings. It's how you get up here and you speak the name of the AFCEASTIEBOYS. And our channel is always open. You don't necessarily have to wait till we're live. We kind of can open it up at any time and talk and bullshit football. But I would like to hear y'all's thoughts as Dolphin fans. Like, how do y'all feel about what Sully and Halfley are doing so far? You trust the process. You believe in the process. You think that the process is taking us to a dynasty. That's what I feel like. I feel like these guys are building a dynasty. That's their goal. That's their vision. Like I said, they had it plastered all over the war, right? Quotes from Don Shula, trying to get that mentality, trying to build a dynasty, bring the Miami Dolphins franchise back to the top. We used to be the winningest team in the NFL at one. The winningest team in the NFL. We're still the only undefeated team, and it's becoming more likely that that's not going to go nowhere, right? Especially if we go to 18-game regular seasons, and then beyond that, it's going to go even further, right? They're going to push the limits as much as they can. So it's just going to get harder and harder and harder to have an undefeated season. So I don't think that's going anywhere. But at the end of the day, we do still need to become relevant in the playoffs. We need to win a playoff game. Like, that's probably the most important. Would I love for it to happen this year? Oh man, that would be the greatest ever. But do I think we would have to have a lot of things go our way in order for us to win a playoff game this year? Now, I do believe that the AFC East could be wide open this year. It could be super wide open this year. Like, you seriously could probably win the AFC East with 10 wins. It just seems bad. But if we look at it, right, like, we're playing a tough division this year. We all got tough schedules. We don't know what the Buffalo Bills are going to come out and look like. They got new head coaching. Yes, they went out and got DJ Moore, which I think is a great pickup for the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion. I think DJ Moore is going to save Josh Allen's ass a lot. I think he's going to save his ass a lot. But that's also going to bring out the Josh Allen that we know from a couple of years ago, where he might throw a lot of picks because DJ Moore is a big, deep threat receiver. And if you go back and look through Josh Allen's career, that's where he threw the most picks, is when he was throwing those deep passes. And they've kind of trimmed that back the last couple of years. They've relied more on running. They got James Cook, and he's turned out to be a pretty good running back. So they've relied a lot more on the running. Not so much, like, they haven't had big, deep receivers. Like, they've had guys that they've had to, like, do, like, the intermediate dink and dunks with. Using the tight ends, using the slot guys. Like, that's why Keon Coleman hasn't really broke out like he should, because he's a deep threat. So let's see what happens with the Buffalo Bills. Like I said, I think that they might try more than they should, especially with under a new head coach in what's his name, Joe Brady. And this was a Josh Allen pickup. So that tells me that Josh Allen has more power there than he should. So it's like, if he's sitting here in Joe Brady's ear talking about, I gotta pass the ball more. I gotta pass the ball more. We gotta go deep. We gotta go deep. Like, Joe Brady's gonna listen to him. And the Patriots, I mean, we really can't expect them to come out and have the exact same season, right? Maybe they do, you know? Maybe they do repeat and have a good season. But I don't think so. Last year, I think they were just all bought in. They were all on a mission. They had an easy road, like, literally, like, they had an easy road. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. Schedule all the way through the regular season was pretty cakewalk. And then even the schedule through the playoffs was even more of a cakewalk. Didn't have to play a real offense at all. You can go back to the Charger game. Justin Herbert was throwing with a broke hand. Half their offensive line was missing. The Houston game, freaking CJ Stroud throws 4 interceptions in the first half. And in the Bronco game, they didn't even play Bo Nix. So they had a pretty easy walk into the playoffs and then into the Super Bowl. And then you see what happened when they went to the Super Bowl. So they played a real offense and a real defense, and it didn't turn out so well. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna be so tasty and soaking in them juices. Like I said, I poke holes in my meat. I poke holes in my meat so all the sauce and all the juices can soak into it and dig down deep and really get like that meat really grabs a hold of it. Trust the process. Bill's Mafia Hitman, seasoning those butts with hopium. That's right. We got to, right? We got to, man. All fans should have hope for their team. Like I couldn't imagine going into the season and just expecting a bunch of losses. And the way that the Dolphins are sitting right now, by the way, the Bills are not taking the division back, and you're not sweeping the Dolphins this year. I trust the process. Let's F and go. But you're more than welcome to hop up here, Bills Mafia. Go join the Discord. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join the Discord. Hop up here. I want to hear. I want to hear your thoughts on the Buffalo Bills. Always want to hear about other AFC East teams. Um, trust the process, my friend. But as a fan, you got to have hope, man. You can't go into the season expecting a bunch of losses. And the way that the Dolphins are set up right now, our wins and losses doesn't really matter. Um, the hope for this season is that we build and we establish a good culture. And that's done in the trenches, that's done out there on the football field, that's done in training, that's done in the weight room. Like it's done in all facets of football. Even our losses can be wins. I was talking about this earlier. Like you got to turn L's into W's. So it's like you go out there. These guys can go out there and fight and play a hard game, but they lose by a field goal or just not enough at the end, and go into the locker room feeling it. You can feel the tension. You can feel the weight on everybody's shoulders. Like that's what you're aiming for. That way they're gonna come out. They're gonna come out the next week and they're gonna be tough. And you just do that. You keep doing it. You got to turn those L's into W's. And then by 2 years from now, Bills Mafia gonna be looking at the Dolphins sitting at the top of the division like the Patriots were, just owning it. Because we building a dynasty. We building a dynasty. Smash that like and subscribe whether you agree or not. But yeah, I'd love for some people to come up here and join the conversation. We no longer have McDermott and his bend not break raggedy defense holding us back. But for what it's worth, I wish y'all well. The Pats are the only team I hate in the division. Yeah, I think all AFC East teams have that equal hate for the New England Patriots, and rightfully so, right? They basically dominated our division for 2 decades, not giving any of us a chance to survive or even look decent. Um, So F the Pats. F the Pats. That's what I say. We had some rain earlier, man. I thought I was gonna have to take this stream inside. I wasn't gonna be able to smoke my pork butt, but ain't no rain stopping us. Ain't no rain stopping me, not today. All right, so now we ain't made a whole lot of hot takes yet, right? So now we gotta start coming up with some hot takes. We gotta start bringing the hot takes out. Bring up this hot pork butt. Let's see. I know earlier in the off season, like all this hopium that I've been giving you guys, um, all this hopium that I've been giving you guys. Earlier in the off season, I made two separate bets for the Miami Dolphins. Right, I made a bet that they would hit the over. Vegas has us at 4.5. I actually took a bet that we would go over 5.5, so at least 6 wins. So I took a bet that the Miami Dolphins have at least 6 wins. But I also took a bet that the Miami Dolphins finished last in the division. So with that being said, Miami Dolphins having 6 wins, being last in the division, six maybe 7 wins, being last in the division, would that make the AFC East the toughest division in the NFL? Yeah, no, you're not far off, Bills Mafia. You're really not. Like the team that they've put together, the New York Jets, like they had a great draft. Kenyon Sadiq, Omar Cooper Jr., David Bailey, D'Angelo Pons, like all of those guys are going to be instant starters for that team and instant playmakers for that team as well. I wish my Jets buddy was here to talk about it, but he's working right now. Maybe he'll join afterwards. But they've put a team together that really can perform. And I don't think Geno Smith, here's a hot take for you. Geno Smith could win comeback player of the year. Unfortunately, he's not coming back from an injury, so I don't think that'll actually be eligible for him. But I think Geno Smith can definitely turn his career around this year with the New York Jets and get himself a bag in future years. Because we look at it like, yes, he was one of the worst quarterbacks. You could literally put him and Tua next to each other, and like you couldn't go wrong saying either one of them was the worst quarterback in the league last year. But he was also playing on the Raiders, had no offensive line, no real weapons to throw to, just kind of like a team that was secretly tanking anyways because they were going after Fernando Mendoza. So Geno Smith he's going to have a better offensive line this year. He's going to have better weapons to utilize, throw the ball to. He's going to have a Brees Hall back there who's been in the league and is kind of like itching for a real chance to perform. So I do believe that Geno Smith can turn his career around this year. Um, let's give a hot take on some stats, right? Let's say he throws for 3,800 yards, 32 touchdowns on 9 interceptions, and he also puts up another 400 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns. And that's going to be my hot take for Geno Smith. I do believe that he can at least pull that off this year with the Jets. And if he does that, Bills Mafia, that most likely will put the Jets at a better record than the Miami Dolphins. That is 100% fact right there. It's 100% fact right there. You can easily see it coming. Now the question is going to be though if Aaron Glenn can stay awake during these games. You know, he can't be over there on the sideline taking naps and shit. Like he's got to keep his head in the game and stay focused. That's for sure. That's for sure. Oh my gosh, those were the days. Those were the days. See, I unfortunately came into being a Dolphin fan at the ass end of Marino's career. Um, so I didn't really get to watch him live in the prime, but when I became a Dolphin fan, I went back and I watched film and stuff. So I have watched his career, but yeah, I didn't get to live his career. Like I could imagine what it felt like being a Dolphin fan live in the moment, especially at the height of Dan Marino's career. Man, and just to think too, if we could have got Ricky Williams, if we could have drafted Ricky Williams, like Dan Marino probably would have a Super Bowl ring or two. Just saying, but they got him too late. We never had a defense. One of the greatest to never get a ring. But that just shows you that it's like, yes, your QB is important. QB is so important, but like you could have the greatest quarterback alive and it not be enough. You got to put pieces around him. Still got it's a team sport. It's a team sport. It takes two people to catch a ball, one to throw it and one to catch it. Let's see if we can get the flames going again. It's not smoking enough for me. Not smoking enough. My dad needs to hurry up and come back with more wood. Oh, let those flames pick back up. Do Bills fans really hate the Dolphins? I mean, I know there's a lot of Dolphin fans that really hate the Bills. I mean, it's kind of mutual, right? We should kind of hate our division rivals. But my best friend is a Jets fan, so I feel you there. Like I have a soft spot for the Jets sometimes because, like, yeah, my best friend's a Jets fan. I feel bad for him. He grew up down here in South Florida. I don't necessarily understand how he became a Jets fan, but to each his own, right? He explains to me that it's because he wanted to rival with everyone in his family because his family we're all Dolphin fans. I'm a Dolphin fan. His whole family's Dolphin fans. So he's like, I want to rival them. I'm like, all right, whatever, bro. But I'm slowly trying to turn him into a. I like KC personally. They're exciting to watch. Um, During my travels growing up, I traveled around a lot growing up. Um, didn't really live a stable life. During my travels, I rolled through Kansas City. Had a buddy in Kansas City. Um, Actually, I was staying in Monette, Missouri, but It's near Kansas City, so everyone was like Kansas City fans. So I ended up getting some friends that were Kansas City fans. Is my stream lagging, guys? Ladies and gentlemen, is the stream laggy for you guys? I can go fix my computer. I might need to go fix my computer. You go inside and fix the computer. Yeah, I think we're lagging. Are we lagging, ladies and gentlemen? Or is it just my laptop that's lagging? Anyway, so yeah, I stayed in Missouri for a little while. Had a bunch of Kansas City fans, so I ended up kind of liking them, and they're exciting to watch. I love watching Patrick Mahomes do Patrick Mahomes things. Like I, I don't see how anybody can't give him props for some of the things that he does. It's just remarkable. Like last year, when he like literally like went sideways in the air and threw the pass to Travis Kelsey. Oh, that was like, dude, come on, man, like Superman type shit, like for real. Um, okay, yeah, Panthers. We have a Canna. I don't know if you know Canna or not. Only the real survive. He's in the Carolinas as well, and it's the same situation. He became a Dolphin fan because they didn't have the Panthers. They didn't have the Panthers, and I stayed in the Carolinas for a little while. I had a buddy that was a Panther fan. He tried to convert me, but I was like, nah, I was already a diehard Doll fan at that time. It's like, you're not converting me, buddy. How about them Detroit Lions now, right? Like, talk about talk about a Cinderella story for the Detroit Lions as far as their organization goes. Like, bottom of the barrel for the longest time, not relevant in the league, always having losing seasons. And now here they are, like, turned it around. Now they're relevant every year, talking about them like as if they're going to go into the playoffs and possibly be contenders for a Super Bowl. That's where the Dolphins are heading, ladies and gentlemen. Here's your hopium again. Let me season up that pork butt with the hopium because that's where we're heading, man. These guys are cooking. These guys are cooking. I'm not the only one over here cooking, man. Sully's been cooking all off season. Got to trust the process. They're building a dynasty, I promise. And if I don't get somebody up here to start talking football with me, I might run out of topic and start having to talk politics. Ain't nobody want to talk politics. I got a long time to cook this pork butt, ladies and gentlemen. And don't worry, I'm going to be sharing finished product photos into the Discord after it's done. So if y'all have not joined in on the Discord yet, please do so. Trust me, you will not regret it. You will not regret it. It's a great place to be. 24/7 access to the AFC Eastie Boys Discord community. We have lots of different channels. We're going to be holding our fantasy football league. We'll have a private little channel for that. We have a couple different voice channels that are always active. Being a member of the Discord helps you get up here on the show. I'm not around my computer. If anybody has joined the Discord and would like to get up here and don't have the access currently, let me know in the chat so I can go give you access. Um, It's also where you want to be plugged into when we do our giveaways, which the current giveaway we got going on right now. We got a nice little Mike Gesicki autograph photo that's going out to one of our lucky viewers as soon as we hit 500 subscribers. As soon as we hit 500 subscribers, we got a Mike Gesicki autograph photo going out to one of you. So make sure y'all share. Share, share, share. And if you have not already, hit that subscribe button. Show your boys some love. We out there cooking up some pork butt, and Sully in the kitchen cooking up a dynasty. Cooking up a dynasty is real. You just gotta trust the process. Trust the process, just like I trust the process of how I'm cooking this pork butt right now. How I took my pork butt, thawed it out, and then I stabbed it with a fork a bunch of times. Oh, I'm putting the holes all in it, deep into the meat, so that when I put my honey, my barbecue sauce, seasonings on there, my dry rubs on there, my dry rub, you got the buttery steakhouse. Oh yeah, you got the buttery steakhouse. Oh yeah, and you got the honey garlic, sweet barbecue rub. Oh yeah, mix those together with a little bit of salt and pepper. You rub it on. You let it sink in. Gets in. So it fills the inside of the meat. The meat grabs onto it. That way it's nice and juicy and tender. You gotta trust the process, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Mr. Polk? Welcome in. Thanks for joining. How you doing? Trust the process. Trust the process. We're gonna have OTAs coming up, training camp coming up. I got a question for you, Bills Mafia. How do you feel? How do you feel about the DJ Moore pickup? What are your opinions on that pickup there? That DJ Moore pickup. I personally like it. I think it's good for you guys. It's gonna give, in my opinion, it's gonna give Josh Allen the big body deep threat receiver that will help him out. I think DJ Moore is going to help Josh Allen become better, especially at the deep ball, because DJ Moore's got some pretty good hands, man. He can get open. He can get them contested catches, snatch it right out of the air, which is a problem that Keon Coleman, I believe, has had. And that's why you haven't seen Keon Coleman get as much action as he probably deserves. But I just I like DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore pickup for sure. Let's just hope that AJ Brown doesn't go to the Patriots, right? I think I think if you're a Jets fan and you're a Dolphin fan and you're a Bills fan, I think we're all in agreement that we do not want AJ Brown going to the Patriots. Can we all agree on that? We all here, can we agree? We got to figure out some way to make sure it doesn't happen. Who was that y'all drafted? So realistically, right? Realistically, as Dolphin fans, what should we expect? What should we go into this season expecting? Should it be a 7-win season at minimum? I know that's the truth, Mr. Paul. But should we go into it with a 7-win season being our minimum expectation? Should we be more lenient, knowing that this isn't really about wins and losses this year? It's more about building our culture and establishing our locker room. And then next year we go into this to the season with expectations, because we have to have a whole lot of things go right for us this year in order for us to have a 500 season. Oh, Jalen Kilgore, safety. Okay, yeah. I was checking that guy out too. Um, I liked him as a Dolphins prospect. I definitely liked him as a Dolphins prospect. Sure. Skylar Bell in the fourth. He's a receiver, right? Yeah. I'll have to check him out. I'll make a video. I'll do a video. I'll make some highlights and I'll put it out on the channel. Probably tomorrow or maybe the day after. I've already gone through and done like the main ones for the Dolphins and the Jets. So now I'll go through and I'll put a couple videos together for some Bills and some Patriot rookies, welcoming them to the AFC East. Well, what do you like about Skylar Bell? I'll pull up his stats right now. I'll pull up his stats. Bangity bangity bang. 125th overall. Spent his first 3 years at Wisconsin before transferring to UConn. 2025, 101 receptions, ranked third, fourth nationally, 1,278 yards, 13 touchdowns. Finalist for the Valentnikoff Award, given to the nation's top receiver, and the first team All American. Let's see here, 6 foot, 192 pounds, 440, 44 and 40, 41-inch vertical jump. That's nice. That's nice. That means he can go up. He can go up and get the ball. That's pretty good, especially at 6'2". So be a nice red zone threat right there. Be a nice red zone threat right there for sure. Pretty fast guy too. Hey, well, that's actually progress, Idle Man, because I saw PFSN having the Dolphins picking first next year, like the day after the draft was over. So that's actually some progress. We went from first to second. They had us drafting Deontay, or what's his name, the quarterback that went back to school this year, Dante Moore, I think his name is. They had us drafting him at one. Well, see, I think that's why, right? So, Idleman, you're right, right? We do need to make sure that we have a good draft next year as well, and a good draft could be dependent on needing a high draft pick. And like, in order to need a high draft pick, well, we got to suck, right? And nobody wants to suck. We sucked last year. We got how many wins did we get? But we sucked so bad, right? So let's picture how it looked for us last year. We won what, 7, 8 games, ended up getting pick 11 in the draft, but we sucked so bad that like we should have only won one game. Like the scores, the games were so bad. Like there were some games where we couldn't even put up 10 points. But now let's fast forward it to this year, right? Let's say let's say we only win 3 games this year, but the 3 games, like all the games that we play are close games. Let's say that they're like 30 to 27, 30 to 24, or 27-24 type games, and we're losing good, fun games. At the end of the day, that's not losing. We're winning, right? We're building the culture, we're building the establishment, and towards uh, we're still working towards a better draft pick for 2027. And also, too, we'll figure out throughout this year if we are sitting there with a top draft pick. Obviously, Malik Willis isn't the guy. So you go out and you get your guy in the draft. But if he leads us to a 10-win season and we're sitting here fighting for a wild card, maybe we don't need that high draft pick next year. Maybe Malik Willis really does turn out to be the guy. And we don't need to draft high and get a quarterback. So we're really playing with a double-edged sword here, and we're playing with it in our favor because no matter how Malik Willis turns out, and the fate of the Miami Dolphins depends on how Malik Willis turns out, right? And hopefully it's not a situation where he does great one year and then not so great afterwards, right? Right? Gets a bigger bank and gets signed and becomes the franchise quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, and then all of a sudden turns back into the Malik Willis that was at Tennessee. We don't want that to happen. But we signed him for 3 years, so there would have to be consistency. There would have to be consistency in his game, right? So it's like, yes, okay, let's say he takes us to a 10 or 11 win season this year. We make it into the playoffs. Maybe we win, or maybe we don't win a playoff game, whatever. Well, you would have to come back in next year, right? In 2027, you would have to come back in and do it again before getting that bank. So we're in a really good position. I ended up liking the move with the Malik Willis over time. I didn't like it originally because of how much we paid him and the fact that we had just gotten rid of Tua and that big ass contract that we had to eat. But it is what it is. As far as Tyreek Hill goes, like I pay attention. I follow Tyreek Hill on all his social media, so I kind of keep an eye on him, and I don't think that he's worried about not getting picked up yet because I feel like where he's at in his career, it's smarter for him to just focus on his injury right now, focus on rehab because he does need another surgery. That's the reason the Dolphins cut him, because I had actually interviewed him and he was willing to restructure his contract. He was willing to take less money. He was willing to do a whole lot to stay in Miami. But anyways, given the fact of the division that Sully and Halfley had, he wasn't part of the plan. He was not part of the process. He failed. He failed his physical, and news came out that he was going to require a second surgery. So there's going to be a lot of teams out there that are skeptical on him, and that kind of helps him for the rest of his career because now he's the type of receiver. Spend these next 3, 4, 5 months working on your injury, healing up, so that way when week 10 rolls around, you can take a look around the league and you can kind of see who's going to be in the playoffs, who's going to be fighting for the Super Bowl, and you can pull an OBJ if you're Tyreek Hill. You're going to pull an OBJ. You need to, because you got a lot of baby mamas out there that need some money, man. So you need to go out there. You need to be like signed for a team for 1 year, get you a 10, $12 million bankroll for 7 games, maybe go to a Super Bowl, and then next year you do the same thing. You wait until another team needs a guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the Chargers with Mike McDaniel. I wouldn't be surprised. That would not surprise me at all. And that would be scary. The Chargers would be scary over there. Here's a hot take for you guys. Here's a hot take for you guys. It is so, go ahead and get ready to click this, right? Because it is so in the interest of the NFL for there to be a Chargers Rams Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium in 2026. And why? Because you're going to have two home teams battling it out for the very first time at the Super Bowl, the world's biggest stage. Imagine the revenue that would come from that. Imagine the history, the storylines, like everything. Like, it's in the NFL's best interest for that to happen. Oh my Jesus. Imagine if we had a Chargers Rams Super Bowl this year. That would be crazy. Any team but KC or the Pats for Tyreek Hill. What if he went to the Rams? That would be crazy. Or Seattle. He goes to Seattle. Oh man. Seattle would be a prime spot. Like if he went to Seattle, I could actually consider them being contenders again this year. But I don't personally think it's going to happen because they did lose a lot of pieces on their defense, a lot of key pieces that helped them last year. For a minute. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna use the bathroom and get me a drink and stuff. Anybody wants to hop up here and talk some football? Let's go. Let's run it. Discord links in the description. If you know, you know.
Number one on the board, Cat and Proctor, the Titan, that's who we adore. From the Alabama soil where the legends grow tall, a mountain of muscle, a wall for the ball. Then it's Chris Johnson, a DB, the island is locked. Out in San Diego where the defense was rocked. Pick 158, that's a steal in the light. A lockdown assassin, a shadow in flight. Then the second round, Rodriguez, the Red Raider soul. Texas Tech heat, yeah, he's taking control. A linebacker beast with a nose for the play. He's bringing that love Bach thunder our way. Peace to the Finns, yeah, we building the brand. The baddest new brothers in all of the land. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, hear the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making a howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line, everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Weathering the storm, yeah, you heard? Caleb Douglas, Will Cack, Merrick Chris Bell too. Texas Tech speed in the Ohio State view. Louisville Lightning, yeah, the receivers are deep. While the league is just dreaming, we staying out of sleep. Trey Moore, the edge rusher, Texas on the blade. Coming for the quarterback, watch how he's played. Kyle Lewis, the LB from Pittsburgh to the Heat. Michael Toff, the safety, making the secondary complete. Fifth round fever, we finding the gold. Seidel Troa, the TE, the story untold. Coleman Jr. and Campbell, Missouri to the heart. DJ on the guard, yeah, we tearing the charts. Max Llewellyn, the defensive end from the west. Iowa power, yeah, he's passing the test. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, hear the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making the howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line, everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Yeah, weathering the storm, word up. Word up, aqua and orange for real. 2026, the year of the deal. Proctor, Johnson, Rodriguez, the whole squad, making it happen against all the odds. Peace to the South Beach, peace to the Finns. This is where the new dynasty begins. One love, word up, we out.
Yeah. Bucket. My aluminum foil. Later. It's gonna be so good later. Tasty. Mm, mm, mm. Ladies and gentlemen, we almost at that 500 mark. We almost at that 500 mark, ladies and gentlemen. Can we hit it today? Can we hit it today? Can we hit it today? Someone can be winning this nice Mike Gesicki autograph photo today. All you gotta do, go share it with a friend. Anybody that likes football, it doesn't have to be a Dolphin fan. We cover everything around here. We're the AFC Eastie Boys. What is up, Mr. Polk? How you doing today?
What's going on, Cat? Man, good grief, man. You got my mouth watering with that. What you doing on the grill there, man?
Oh yeah, man, working on cooking up a pork butt, man. Smoking it. Got about 2 more hours to go smoking it, and then yeah, I'll share some finished product pictures in the Discord afterwards.
Yeah, so you got your dolphin apron and hat on, man. You killing it, bro. You killing it.
Yeah, I was hoping Kenna would roll through. This is supposed to be a type of show for him, cooking up the realist, but I don't know, he's probably busy. But anyways, so I know that you're very optimistic about the Dolphins um this year. You want to like go into detail a little bit on that?
Okay, the reason why I'm optimistic about the Dolphins is that we are that well let me say it like this. As far as us getting Sully and Halfley, I like what they did in free agency. And I think that we have a couple hits in free agency. We may have a couple hits in the draft, and we may even have maybe a couple hits with the UDAs. So what I'm saying, reason why I'm optimistic about this season is because we're rebuilding. We are creating a new I guess I could use the word environment. We're creating a new environment, and which is going in the right direction. So, with me, I'm not expecting us to go to the playoffs or the Super Bowl. I'm not expecting that at all. But if it happens, I take it. I would take it right. I accept it right away. But no, I'm
Heck
just
yeah.
happy because I just want to see what we have with the free agents and the at the draft picks and what have you. So that's where I'm at. I'm in observation.
Okay, let me ask you, do you have, out of the draft picks and the free agents that we picked up and the UFDAs or UDFAs, do you have like any names that you're specifically going to be keeping an eye on? You have really good high hopes for, or any names that you are thinking are end up going to be busts, may not work out the way that we're hoping?
Yeah, let me pull up my list real quick. Let me see what I got here. Um, okay, so like with the draft picks, how did I get up there? Okay, let's see here. Well, pretty much, I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty much with let me start with Proctor. With Proctor, he's with Proctor, he's a prospect with um with experience in college playing in 4 different positions. So I'm kind of excited to see how that works out because he's a big guy, 6'6", 352. Um,
Yeah,
cornerback
I'm
Chris
excited for
Johnson.
Proctor.
Yeah. Okay, with the cornerback Chris Johnson, I don't know much about him because I got to go back and look at film on Chris Johnson and look at some highlights on him. Jacob Rodriguez, I call him J Rod.
Okay,
I'm
I
very
like that.
excited about. Yeah, I like that pick. In fact, that's one of my favorite picks with J Rod. People are critiquing him a little bit because of his size, but let's remember Zach Thomas was not a tall linebacker as well. But when I look at J Rod, he kind of reminds me of Zach Thomas, but if he adjusts to the NFL, he can be better than Zach Thomas. So very exciting on that.
And if I recall, I don't think Andrew Van Ginkel was a very, very big guy either, right?
Right. And Cat, for to mention Van Ginkel, man, I sure hated to see him leave. I really liked him, on our team, but he's
He's
doing
another
well.
one that,
No, go ahead.
yeah, he's another one that reminds me of Zach Thomas. Watching him play just like reminds me of Zach Thomas.
Yeah. The way his movements and stuff are very similar to Zach Thomas. Right about that. Yeah, right about that. Caleb Douglas. Um, I'm excited about him also because he's a big wide receiver. He runs in the 4 3s and what have you. So if he makes that NFL adjustment, he's gonna be somebody to deal with. A wide receiver that to deal with. Will Cass. Let me make sure I say this right. Casimir.
Kaepernick.
Okay, I'm excited about him because I've seen film on this guy here. He is a blocking machine. He's a mauler. I look at him more as a mauler or bulldozer. That's the best way I would describe Will Cashman. So, like I said, I'm happy with that. Chris Bale, with him, he reminds me of Anquan Bolden, but he could be a quicker version of him. But they are concerned with his injuries and what have you. But um, like I said, we just got to give him a chance and wait and see what happens. Trey Moore, I got to look at the film on Trey Moore. I got to look at more film on him. But from what I'm,
What's been right?
mm,
Oh, we're season them up. Reprise. Go season them up. Throw them on there. I've actually been looking at some film on Chris Bell.
uh,
I think he's going to be okay. He should be back for training camp. He said that he should be good to go for training camp as far as the injuries concerned. And we're looking at both of these wide receivers, and we really don't know what we're getting. We look at the film from college, like it looks great and everything, but that's also college. Not everything translates to the NFL.
exactly.
So looking at our wide receiver room as it stands right now, it looks like we have a whole bunch of wide receiver twos and wide receiver threes,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Caleb Douglas or Chris Bell could easily come out this year and end up being a clear wide receiver one. Where you get drafted doesn't always determine how you perform in the NFL.
right. Exactly.
So if they come out, if either one of them can come out and actually be a playmaker for the Miami Dolphins, I think that that's going to be a plus
Hmm.
and give us a better chance, like to do good and perform at like a decent amount. Like I just want us to do better than last year. I don't care about the W's or the losses, right? But I don't
Hmm.
want to see us go out there and get beat 27-6
Right.
against a Cleveland Brown team. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
if we would have lost that game 27-24, it would have been a whole different story. It would have been a little bit more exciting and not like unexciting, if that makes any sense.
No, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. And that's why I said the biggest thing I want people to understand with me is that you know, I don't have um no high expectations of our team, but I'm happy at the direction we're going. That's the best way I can say it. And it takes it's with the situation that we are in, it's going to take the next draft and maybe even the draft after that to get to where we can start progressing and hopefully moving forward to where we can get to a situation where we make the playoffs or go even further than that. I'm always for us winning, period. But we have to see things for what they really are. We are rebuilding, or if you want to call it retooling, that's what we're doing.
Yep,
So, whoever
100%.
whoever players we bring onto the team, whether it be through free agency or draft, they all are battling for their position, for their spot. And so it's going to be that's the thing I'm going to enjoy the most is looking at um each position and seeing who wants it more than the other.
Um,
So that's what I'm excited about.
yeah, that's definitely going to be exciting for sure. And like, I like the Zane Anderson guy that we picked up. We brought over that Happily brought over with him from Green Bay.
Hmm.
I was talking about him earlier, how I feel like he's gonna have a big step up this year.
Uh-huh.
Because if you look back, he's been with Halfley for the last few years. They drafted him in Green Bay 2 years ago. His first
Hmm.
year, he was a rookie, mostly just playing special teams, and being a good special teams player, like getting down there fast. He's had turnovers on special teams. But last year he came in and they actually had some plays drawn up for him. He started a few games on defense.
Hmm.
So Halfley is already familiar with Zane Anderson. So I do feel like he's gonna take a step forward this year and probably become our clear number one starter in that safety position.
Hmm.
Because like I said, he's already familiar with Hapley. Hapley's
Right.
already familiar with him. He's already kind of been grooming him for the last 2 years.
Hmm.
And you can see that because last year, like he went from his rookie year not getting any starts on defense to his second year having plays drawn up specifically for him so that he can get starts on defense. So I think that Halfley's just gonna expound on that and use him probably as a crutch with this defense moving forward.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about Zane Anderson.
Hmm. Yeah.
Idleman says Bell will become our wide receiver one.
I mean, I hope so. It doesn't matter waiting to see. Also, the piggyback on you on what you're saying. Also, they've also brought over the tight end. I think it's what Ben Sims, if I think
Yep.
that's his name. And
Yep.
right now looks like he may. Well, it's still a balance spot, but so far we got Greg Dulcich, got Ben Sims, and then we went and picked up two other tight ends. One I mentioned a little earlier. So, as far as the tight end room goes, I'm interested to see, what Ben Sims going to bring to our offense, who have being probably more than likely being the number two tight end, because I've already seen what Greg Dosich can do and what happened. That's why I'm glad that they kept, kept him and gave him a 1 year deal and what
A
happened.
prove
So,
it deal. Yeah.
right,
And
exactly.
I'm glad you brought up Ben Sims because like that's another one that I have a lot of confidence in that can come in here this year and have a standout year and
Exactly.
probably take the tight end one position for us.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, right, is
Hmm.
like the way that they've used him in Green Bay, he was more of a blocking tight end. But if you go
Right.
back and you look at his college tape, he wasn't
Hmm.
really a blocking tight end. He was a pass catching tight end. He's a big boy. He's a big guy. He's decently fast. I'm not going to say he's super fast, but he's definitely decently fast
Hmm.
and he's good with catching the ball. So if like they can tap into that and bring that form of Ben Sims out this year, we
Right.
might have Darren Waller sitting there in Ben Sims. And the reason I say why he might become the tight end one is because he's been working with Malik Willis for the past 2 years, right? So Malik Willis
Exactly.
has been on the Green Bay Packers for the last two
Hmm.
years, working as a second string. So has Ben Sims. So they've literally been working together already for the last 2 years. So the
Right.
chemistry is gonna clear to be there. So he's already got heads up
On great
advantage
dosage.
over
Yeah.
Greg Dulcich.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. That's true. And I'm glad you brought that up, 'cause I didn't think about that part. So yeah, you're right on that. But that's why I say the tight end room is good. And then with the addition of the two rookies that we picked up in the draft, they can hopefully they can learn from Ben Sim and Greg Dosage and whatever. So we're very happy with the tight end room. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the tight ends. I feel like the tight ends are okay. We didn't get Stowers. So any other tight end other than that, I didn't care if we got one or not. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't get the idea of drafting Will Kazmarek though, mainly because he's a blocking tight end. Um,
Hmm.
and doesn't have the pass catching abilities like most tight ends do. So that was kind
Hmm.
of like questionable for me, but I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna trust the process. This is a part of trusting the process. What's up? Welcome in, Cap. How you
What's
doing
up,
today?
Cat? But see, oh, okay. But see, here's the thing, Cat. I kind of look at it in a similar way to when we drafted Mike Gesicki. Drafted Mike Gesicki because of his catching ability. Then in the same draft, we turned around and drafted Durham Smite, and Durham Smite was more of a blocking tight end. But the good thing about Durham Smite is as time went on, he started developing a catching ability too. So it's good to have those type of tight ends in your tight end room. And with like I said, his name is kind of
As Nick,
hard for me, Cashman, right? With him, from what I'm seeing on film, he's a mauler, but he can, with the right coaching, he can probably develop, his catching skills also if he don't have them already. But go ahead,
and
Cap. What's up? What's going on? What's up, Cap?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
All right, all right. How you doing?
It's what do the kids call it? Fun Day Sunday.
Sunday fun day, buddy.
Hanging in there, man. You guys had me intrigued with the Dolphin talk. I said, let me get on here. I wasn't going to do it, but I said, you know what? I'm watching all these short reels coming out throughout YouTube of mini camps, of rookie mini camps, all these other teams. And I'm like, when does our rookie mini camp start?
That's a good question. I couldn't answer that.
That is a good question, actually. That is a great question.
We got to wait for.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't know.
But to go back to the tight ends, Mr. Polk. To go back to the tight ends, Mr. Polk. Like the reason that I don't like the idea of bringing in just a strictly blocking tight end is because it kind of gives away the offense, right? You know he's coming in to block. He's not coming in to pass catch. So,
right. More than like he's coming in for a run play. I understand what you're saying.
Well, I mean, I kind of like that in a way, man, because it's like, I mean, old school style football, you know, we're going to do it. Stop us. I mean, we never had that luxury to say that. Like, yeah, man, we got it. We're going to run it on you. You can't do nothing about it. Like, I would want that type of team stories to be heard around this area, man. Like, just to say, yeah, it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Yeah, we're going to run it. You can't stop us.
Yeah.
That would be an exciting season for us, Cap.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
How are you feeling about the process so far for the Miami Dolphins?
Bro, let's be real, Cap, bro. Like Mr. Polk seen it for years, bro. Like this was inevitable. You know what I'm saying? Like in order to cleanse, it has to be done. But that's just in life in general, bro. Like if you guys saw what we saw, and we were all coming to the same conclusion, like you saw that this was deteriorating fast. Like we had to fix it. Like we had no choice but to do what we're doing. We never done it before. Oh no, and let me correct myself. The last time we did that, we gutted the whole team, got a new coach, got a new general manager, knew everything. They ended up making the playoffs. And they won the division that year. So I'm not trying to say it's going to happen to that certain extent, but man, like that was pretty cool to see, man, when new staff took over, you know?
So chat said that rookie minicamp starts May 8th and 9th.
Oh, that's next week.
Yeah. Sure enough it is.
Damn, I'll be at Rockville, bro.
Oh, I wanted to go to Rockville, bro. I wanted to go so bad. Everybody's there, bro.
My wife won tickets. My wife won tickets, bro. So I'm like, fuck it, we'll make it work.
Oh man, they got everybody. I heard they got Breaking Benjamin, freaking Stained, everybody, bro.
We went last year. Last year was really good, bro. We went last year. I actually went crowd surfing and was in a mosh pit and stuff, and did the whole experience. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's go again. Yellow Wolf's gonna be down there. I like Yellow Wolf.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Maybe Eminem shows up.
I doubt that, but that'd be nice. Because he's not headlining or anything. He's just an act that's going to be there.
That's dope. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll be out there. So y'all going to have to keep me posted on, getting me some content.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like that, man. Like, it's gonna take time, man. It's gonna take time. You're gonna see who's really legit about this team and who's gonna, part ways. And sometimes, unfortunately, it does happen that way. But it's just part of the process, man.
There you
go. So
the
internet's blowing up about it, right? You gotta come over here. The internet's blowing up about it, right? Malik Willis's pitch the other night. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
I think he was trolling everybody, bro. I think he was trolling everybody.
With me, I'm gonna tell you something. I mean, to me, it doesn't change my opinion. Malik Willis, or if it was Quinn Ewers or any other quarterback, it wouldn't change my opinion because That's baseball. Baseball and football are two different sports. Okay, it's a difference between throwing the football and throwing the baseball. It may be some similarities, yes, but at the end of the day, you're talking about two different shaped balls and shaped balls, and also two different balls that two different weight for the ball. So you know, I think they're just blowing this way out of proportion. But unfortunately, there are some fans, for y'all, both of y'all know for sure. There's some fans sitting out there right now are questioning Malik or even bad mouthing Malik, saying that we made a mistake doing this because look what he did trying to throw a baseball because a
Well,
baseball's in the football.
that's why I brought it up too. We have a comment from Lockport dude. Malik Willis' first pitch yesterday will sum up the season for the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, he's a Buffalo Bills fan. Go Bills. We AFC East over here. Don't let that stop you from hitting that like and subscribe button, buddy. I don't look too much into that either. I'm right there with you, Mr. Polk. It's like different mechanics throwing a football and a baseball. If you go back, you can look at other quarterbacks, other great quarterbacks in the league that have thrown bad pitches as well. Idleman comes back and says Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes also threw out the first pitches. So you can't really
Wow, I didn't know
read
that.
too much into it.
Yeah, somebody mentioned it yesterday on speech. Somebody mentioned that, and they also mentioned
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. They mentioned Joe.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
But if you think about it, I'm gonna say this. I used to watch baseball, and I'm probably end up getting back to it since I'm retired. If you stand there and look at a pitcher, go through the motion of throwing the ball, I'm serious. It's different from a quarterback, being going dropping back and throwing the ball. It's a different mechanic. So let's not throw this way out of proportion here by judging him because of him throwing the baseball. Even though and they said that he played baseball in high school. Okay, so what? His major is football. So let's not disrespect him because he made some bad baseball throw. Come on.
And hold on. Even to expand on that, Mr. Polk, right? So if we want to go and like, oh, he played baseball in high school, okay. Well, Patrick Mahomes played baseball in college and all through high school. Like he actually was like considered getting drafted into the MLB. Like his dad's a baseball player. But yet he still threw a bad first pitch.
Yeah.
But he'll come into the NFL and he'll throw a sidearm football pass while he's sideways in the air, like Superman, just freaking first down to Cowboys. There we go. So don't think too much into that, ladies and gentlemen. It's way different from throwing a football. Way different from throwing a football.
Exactly.
But we got the list of all the mini camps, all the camps that are going on. Idleman, appreciate you for dropping all those dates in the chat. Rookie mini camp May 8th and 9th, and then we got OTAs are May 18, 19, 21, 26, 27, 29, and then June 8th, 9th, and 11th, and then mandatory mini camp June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So I'll have to figure out my schedule and figure out which days I can go down there to. Because just like last year, I'll be down there, I'll get y'all some firsthand footage and notes and takes and everything from what I'm seeing live. Because, we got great beat reporters and everything, but they don't always tell us everything we need to know as Dolphin fans, right? They kind of sugarcoat it for us, keep it PR related. Which, if you're getting a paycheck from the Miami Dolphins, in a sense, kind of got to, right? You can't tell the real nasty stories or how one of the quarterbacks throws X amount of interceptions. Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. I'll make sure to get y'all some good notes from training camp.
Well, you got to think about it too. Like for the most part, everybody's always been set at looking at the quarterback position at these mini camps. But this is the first time in a long time, like, we're trying to figure out a lot of key positions. So it's going to be cool to see a lot of these guys step up that we never heard names before, man.
Yeah.
Dap, are you going to be going to any of the mini camp or any of the camps?
I'm going to try to go. I mean, it's hot out here, man. Like, yesterday was boiling yesterday, man.
Well, hopefully, we're not practicing at noon. Hopefully, we're practicing either early in the morning or towards the evening time. Like you heard Halfley the other day, a couple weeks ago, was talking about training camp, and he was like, it's not smart to practice in the hottest part of the day. So hopefully that means that they'll either bring the practices out early in the morning or later in the afternoon once the sun starts going down and it starts cooling off. Because like I've been complaining about that for a couple of years because yeah, I go to the training camps, bro, and we're out there training. They're out there training at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, like from 11 to 1, basically during the hottest part of the day. That just leads to injuries. That's not good for the team because you're wearing these guys down. It's like, yes, you want to get them used to it, but we live down here. We don't necessarily need to train in that shit. You know what I mean? Like, we live down here. We're already used to it. We need to be worrying about how to simulate cold weather situations so that we can be ready for them.
Exactly. And this may sound crazy, Cat, but even if you have to actually create in some ways, try to create an environment where it's cold down here. I know it's not gonna be, but if they can create that and let these guys kind of play in it or kind of get used to it in a certain way, it may help us when we play the winter games. But as far as the Heat go, just in fact Friday that just went by, they put out a Heat advisory because the temperature was going the regular temperature was going to be 93, but the heat index was going to feel like 100, maybe 101. So when you have that kind of situation going, it's not good for the athletes, regardless of how good a shape they're in, to be out there in that environment. And recently, if I'm not mistaken, I can't tell you how many years, but recently they made changes down here where the players, like the players with the Dolphins have to practice a certain time of the day, just like you mentioned it earlier. Yeah, because it's you talking about injury or even someone passing away. This heat down here, it's very humid and hot.
Oh, it gets super hot. And as far as the cold weather climate goes, like with the technology that's available nowadays, there should be no reason that we can't turn our indoor training facility into a freaking snowy environment.
Exactly.
Like with all the money that Ross, like that's Ross, that's something that you can do for the football team right now. We want you to stay out of we want you to stay out of the running of the football team, but like we want you to open up your pocketbook. Here's what you can do right now. You can spend $500,000 at max, probably. Maybe less. I don't know. I'm just throwing a fucking number out there. $500,000 for you anyways, probably like $50. So $500,000 to your indoor facility, you can make sure that bitch blows snow, gets ice cold, simulates cold weather conditions, like that Kansas City game from a couple years ago when we were in the playoffs. Something like that. Like you can make it happen, Mr. Ross. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
That way there's no more excuses.
I want to say, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not, when McDaniel did the I Wish It Was Colder t-shirts, weren't they simulating like cold weather inside the facility by lowering the AC?
Yeah, well, I mean, lowering the AC does what? Maybe takes it down to 60s.
Maybe 40 max.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's like, it's still not the same conditions. You're not like got the wind chill going. Like it's different. Like your fingers aren't frozen, so the ball doesn't hurt when it hits you. The tackles don't like everything feels different when you're in that super cold climate. Like the hits are way harder. The football is different. It weighs different. Like when you throw it, it feels different. Like I played in Missouri for a little bit when I was like staying in Missouri as a kid. So I used to throw football with the dudes, and it was different in the cold weather compared to down here when it's warm and stuff. So cranking it down to 40 is cool, but it's kind of just not getting the job done, not really simulating what they're going to be experiencing.
You get cold fingers, numb fingers trying to catch a ball
Yeah.
in the cold. Ooh.
And then like the snow too. So like the snow's melting as y'all are playing because like the motion and all we're tackling and running and shit kind of heats it up, melts the snow. So now it's a wet environment as well. That's another added factor.
Exactly. But you're right, Cat, because the technology is there. Because if I'm trying to remember where it was where someone had like a snow machine, and it might have been down here, and it wasn't for a sporting event. It was for a kids event, and they brought in a machine that actually created snow and what have you. So just like you said, and this was just a few years ago, but just like you said, the technology is there, and Stephen Ross can. I'm quite sure he can pick up the phone and get that set up and go ahead and do it. Ross, if you listen, go ahead and do it, and we'll have so we can get get our players adjusted to that kind of weather, so we can start playing better in that environment and bring home some W's.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Because it's like, or at least do what Bill Belichick did, right? Like, what would Bill Belichick do before coming to play the Dolphins? He'd come down here a
Mm-hmm.
week early, and
Yeah,
they'd be down
yeah,
here that whole week practicing down here in South Florida. That way,
exactly.
they didn't end up like Stephon Diggs crying on our sideline to OSHA about how it's so fucking hot down here in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe Stephon Diggs actually did that shit, man. Cried to OSHA about how hot it was. And the Buffalo Bills' new stadium, the way that they built their stadium, the away side is in the sun. They did they did it just like the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yet they wanted to bitch about it a couple years ago because it was a disadvantage for them. But yet they be out there having their fans shovel snow shirtless so they can play games.
Mm. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
What
So
we got on
like
the
I
grill?
said,
What is it?
yeah, I think it has a pork. Yes, pork roast butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, pork roast butt.
Yeah, so basically thawed it out, stabbed it with a fork a bunch of times, like puncture the meat so that like the sauces and everything soak down into the
Juices flow.
meat.
Yeah.
Topped it with some honey, right? Coated it with honey. Got
Mm-hmm.
some buttery steakhouse and
Oh
some
man.
honey garlic, sweet barbecue rub, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Top it with some barbecue sauce. Let that soak for about an hour and a half while the grill got ready. And now I've probably got about an hour and a half left to smoke. And then that shit'll be so nice and tender. There's no bone, so it'll all just fall apart. I'm debating on whether we want to eat it regular or make like pork sandwiches. I don't know. We'll see how it
Do it
turns out.
with both if you can. Yeah.
But I'll share final product pictures in Discord when it's all said and done. But yeah, Cap, if you go to any of the training camps, definitely hit me up, man. Definitely hit me up. I don't have a membership this year, but I still I'll still go.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm the same boat, man. Whoever invites me, I'll go. It's expensive, man.
No, actually training camps are free. It's just a matter of like taking the day off and going out there. Like, I don't ever buy anything while I'm there. I take waters with me and stuff. So
Mm, interesting. So Cap, what players you interested in, Cap? Watching,
Oh man, Douglas for sure.
mhm.
Who else? Just want to see what Malik Washington has developed into, man, because we know what he can do, but we never give him like a full, you know, complementary role position. He's always been rotation.
Yeah,
So just pretty much seeing the receivers, man. We're starting all over at receiver, guys. Like we have to see who we got.
yeah, that's real.
for sure, we don't have any clear number one. So like everybody's going to get the looks, the opportunities.
Running game, I'm not too worried about. I feel like we've upgraded at the run game, even though we didn't, if that makes sense. But yeah, man. I mean, you got a strong line, then you have strong numbers.
Well, we kind of did upgrade in the running game in a sense, if you want to look at it from the perspective that our quarterback is now better runner than we've had, so that like elevates the run game itself a little bit more.
Yeah,
Because
and
before we had Tua, so there was no threat of the run from the quarterback. So it's like if you could figure out that
Yeah, but
they're lining up and they're going to run a play, then you just got to worry about Devon A-Chain. But now it's like you add Malik Willis into the picture. It's a little bit added threat for the defense. So you could say we upgraded
yeah,
confidently. My questioning
yeah,
with the running back room is what they're going to do with Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon, right? Because as if you look on ESPN right now, they have it listed as Devon A-Chain, then Jalen Wright, then Ollie Gordon. But if I were to list it, it would be Devon A-Chain, Ollie Gordon, then Jalen Wright. What are y'all's thoughts?
I'm gonna go first, Cap.
Oh man, I feel like this is your wheelhouse, man. I think you know where you want to go with this one, Mr. Pope.
Um, well, actually, with me, I'm kind of with you, Cat, with what you're saying, because with A-Chain, he like right now, he should be listed as our number one running back, and then also you mentioned Ollie Gordon because here's the thing about Ollie Gordon, he fits exactly what Halfley and Sully want as far as the prototype running back, the Green Bay well, no, they prototype running back. Okay, then with Jalen Wright, I in a way I think he kind of fits that also because see with him you have a combination of a big back with Jalen Wright and speed back because he's a 4-3 guy also. But here's something that is gonna sound crazy. If Jalen Wright becomes like the third string running back, he better be careful of the undrafted running back we picked up also. And I know that's a far thing to reach, but if you go look at the film
Le'Veon
on
Moss?
Le'Veon Moss, oh man, he's something else. And the thing, but see, the only concern about him is similar to who was that we're talking about the injury? Oh, the wide receiver we're talking about with the injury.
Chris Bell?
Yeah, he with Moss, he has the injuries concern as well. But if he stays healthy, he's going to give Jalen Wright a run for that third spot.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually have his info pulled up right now. Right now, 6 foot, 203 pounds. Did have MCL, ACL tear in
Mhm.
2024. And an ankle an ankle injury in 2025. But in 2024, he had 1,700 plus yards, 22 rushing touchdowns. Or no, his career is 1,700 plus yards with 22 rushing touchdowns. His top season in 2024, 765 yards on 10 touchdowns. That's 6.3 yards per carry. He got all SEC second team honors in 2024. And I'm guessing that's not on a full season because in 2024, that's when he got the torn ACL and MCL. So two injuries, not just one, two injuries. But he is listed as healthy currently
Right.
because he missed all of the 2025 season basically.
Right. And with that being said, that's why I said right now I'm pretty happy with the running back room, for right now. So
Trying to look up his metrics right now, see if he has any. I don't know if he performed at the combine or not.
let me see something. See if I can find it. So
40-yard dash. Okay, so opted out of most drills at the combine while recovering from an ankle injury, but performed at Texas A&M's Pro Day. He did 4.58 in the 40-yard dash. 10-yard split was a 1.56. Vertical jump was 31.5 inches. Broad jump was 9 feet 11 inches. Bench press 16 reps. So track background, 10.84 seconds in the 100-meter dash. So less than 11 seconds he can get from end zone to end zone, basically.
mhm.
He excelled in power situations, averaging 4.84 yards after contact against SEC competition during his 2024 season. Not very fast, not very speedy, but I mean, he's not slow either.
And he's hard to bring down. But the biggest thing um that how should I say that is my biggest concern here with him is just staying healthy. If he can stay healthy, then I think he can contribute to our running back. And that depends on if we're gonna have three running backs on the roster because he might just be on placed on
Your squad.
yep, on the practice squad. So just gotta wait. That's kind of where I'm seeing that go. And anyway, it can be a good thing because if he's sitting on the practice squad, right here, and what have you, that means he can continue to stay healthy or get even healthier or stronger. And what I mean, if we should need him, we can bring him in if one of our three running backs go down.
Yeah, because we also got Donovan Edwards too.
Oh yeah, that's right. And it's another running back. I think it's another running back we've picked up, but he's a five. I think he's about 5'8". So I don't really see that he was undrafted, but I don't really see them keeping him at all.
Well, the undrafted ones, none of them are official until the team announces it. So it's like that's why I haven't really looked too much into any of the UDFAs because like until the team announces that they're part of the team, like they're not really official. 'Cause
Right.
we still got to trim down. I don't know how many we got on our active roster at the moment, but I know we're in a situation where we got to trim down
Yeah.
before season starts. So some of these guys ain't even going to make the team anyways.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. That is the truth. Whether it be free agency or, like I said, might even have a couple of draft pick. Well, no, I can't say the draft picks. I have a couple of them that might not be on the team neither. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it could
Cool.
be some of it could be some of the draft picks, right? Because I mean, we picked up what, two tight ends? I
Right.
mean, so we'll probably keep three on the active roster at most.
Yeah.
That leaves one of those tight ends either going to the practice squad or not making the team.
Mhm. And if I had
How many cornerbacks? How many cornerbacks do we have?
to, see, back to that,
I got it. I got it.
see how many we picked up anyways.
So we got Chris Johnson, Daryl Baker Jr., Ethan Bonner, Miles Battle, Storm Duck, Juju Brents, Alex Austin, Marco Wilson, Jason Marshall Jr., Ethan Robinson, and Jason Mateer.
If Juju Brent recovers well from his neck injury, I can see him making the team. I, I can see him making the team because his size and the way he was playing last before his injury, I can see him making the team. But it depends on how he heals from that neck injury. Um, Marshall Marshall was picked by the last regime and what have you. I don't know. I got I want to see how he adjusts to this new defense. Um, Ethan
So,
Bonner.
so
Mhm.
last year, Jason Marshall Jr., 6 foot, 204 pounds. He had 14 solo tackles, one interception, and four passes defended.
Mhm. Yeah. So
I'm really
I
liking that Alex Austin guy. His tape was really good. He made a lot of open field tackles. I'm rooting for that guy.
who
Um, Alex Austin from the
saw.
Patriots.
Oh, okay, okay. The free agent we picked up.
Yeah,
He played well. He played well. I mean, he plays well. Yeah, I've been hearing about him as well. Ethan Bonner. That's another one. We got to see what happens with the with the new defense that we have. So, but he's Ethan Bonner is the Jalen Waddle on the cornerback. So he has the speed for sure. Just got to see. There's a whole bunch of other guys on there. I still got to go back and look at film on.
yeah. I'm still busy putting together all the film, and then I'll cover all the rookies that we drafted,
Mhm.
and then I'm gonna wait to see who actually makes the team before doing any of the UDFA's. But I'll get film and notes and shit on all them. Probably next weekend, or no, because I'll be gone next weekend. So it'll be the weekend after that.
Right.
I'll probably do the film breakdown of the rookies. So if you wanna join them, we'll have good film to go through and see how they look and see how they might um, relate to the NFL and to this team, which is still completely got question marks. So we don't exactly know what we're going to look like next year. We're all speculating. Like we all have
Exactly.
our own opinions on what it could look like based on knowledge that we know and things that we've seen in the past. We're all
Hmm.
just making speculations and casting our opinions, and we all could be wrong, just like most of us were wrong when it came to the draft, right?
Yeah.
Like how many Dolphin fans are mad that the draft didn't go their way? Well, they They sent us one way with what they were saying, and they went a completely different way because that was their process. That was their vision. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so who knows what our offense is going to look like? Who knows what our defense is going to
That's
look like? Hapley still hasn't given us a clear answer. Like, he's been asked about what the defense might look like probably 5 or 6 times in different interviews, and every time he's kind of given the same but a different answer at the same time. Where he's like, who knows what it's going to look like? It kind of depends on the players that we get into this team. It could be a base 4-3. It could be a 3-4. You could see nickel 5 or 9 or whatever he's saying, like just throwing out all the defensive jargon that you can think of to just really not answer the question
Mm-hmm.
with a clear answer. So we don't know. Because Hapley
Yes.
doesn't even know yet. He said that. He's like, I don't know. Like, I gotta wait till I get my players here, which is great, right? Because that was one thing where Vic Fangio fucked us as Dolphin fans, and a lot of people think that our players sucked and Vic Fangio couldn't work with them. No, it was a matter of our players were good the year before Vic got here, but
Mhm.
he came here wanting to implement his system and do things his way and not really um, conform to the strengths of his players. He was
Right.
also here as a stepping stone. We were a speed bump on his way to Philadelphia, anyways. So, like, in my honest opinion, he didn't really give us his full effort.
Mm-hmm.
Because had he have, we probably would have had a pretty good year, and the defense probably would have been a top-ranked defense.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with that for sure. Yeah. 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 And then, like I said, we got new, we got a new GM with Sully, and we got a new head coach family. So we got to see what they're going to do with their first year as the Miami Dolphin GM and as Miami Dolphin head coach, because we don't know what we have with them. I mean, we're seeing sort of a blueprint of what they want to do with the team, but we don't know if it's going to work, if it's going to work, or if it's not going to. So that's why everything is sort of questionable. And just like you said, we making our speculations and whatever, but it's just that, it's just speculation. At the end of the day, we just gotta wait and see. And to me, that's what makes it exciting.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm going into the season like wins and losses doesn't really matter as long as we're making progress towards the future. I think these guys are secretly building a dynasty, and they're trusting the process. They had a process in place going into this, and they're trusting that process. And I think it showed on draft night, Mr. Falk. I don't know if you were here earlier when I was talking about it, but I think it showed on draft night that Sully is determined to trust the process. So if, like, you're looking at the situation, right? You're sitting there at pick 11 with your very first pick as a general manager in the NFL draft of a team, very first pick, and you have the pick of a lifetime sitting there staring at you in the face, right? And
Hmm.
Caleb Downs, like the pick that everybody is probably in your ear telling you, this is the guy you should take. This is the guy you should take. The guy you're
Right.
supposed to despise, the best player in the draft. But he didn't fold to that
Mm.
pressure. He stuck he stuck to his guns. He trusted the
Right.
process, and he didn't fold. He didn't succumb to the peer pressure of the Twitter Spaces and the Dolphin fans
Hmm.
and the NFL analysts that would have said you should pick Caleb Downs here. He didn't succumb to all that. He stuck to his guns. He trusted his process, and he went out and got the guy that he wanted in Caden Proctor.
Exactly. Exactly. Because, um, like I said, these guys are doing what they want to do, and I'm not, and I will admit, because the receipt is on Miss Finn's show, because right after the first night of the draft, I was on Miss Finn's show and I was not happy and what have you, and with the picks, and then the thing that changed my mind was a couple things. First of all, I had to realize that at the end of the day, regardless, that Sully was going to do the draft the way they planned to do, regardless. And then the second thing is when I went and looked at highlights and film on the two picks on Proctor and the other guy, that's when I started realizing, you know what, these guys are not they are not as bad as pick as we make them to be. But the most important thing is these are the picks that they want for what they want to do. So we just like you said, we got to trust their process, you know, that the process that they're doing, and we got to give them the chance to let them do their thing. You know, because if it works, then hey, we're good. If it doesn't work, then we got to start over again. But you got to give them time. You know, you can't just just you know just because seeing the draft didn't go the way some people wanted to, you can't just say, okay, well, you know what, I'm throwing my hands up. We're gonna fail, or we need to fire these guys. No, we got, you know, that's, to me, that's not fair. Uh, give them maybe a year or two, and let's see what happens. More than that, actually. Look how much time we gave McDaniels. We gave McDaniels what 3, 4 years, maybe 5.
Years,
Let's
yeah.
let's do the same with these guys. Give these guys time.
No, and I think we will see progress as soon as year one. Like I said, like we're going to see the progress. And I think what we'll notice first is probably less drama when it comes to locker room issues and players and stuff. I think
Mhm.
that'll be something that we see less of. At least I'm hoping. Um,
Mhm.
and we'll see it on the field too. We'll see it on
Yeah.
the field. We won't be having guys quitting on plays. Like we all saw it last year, watching some of those games. It just seemed like there were games where it seemed like they just went out there and they weren't giving it their all. It just seemed like
Yeah.
they were just kind of going out there, doing what they had to do to collect their paycheck.
Mhm.
Because our locker room was divided. Our locker
Exactly.
room was divided. Um,
Yeah. It was divided, and then it was some of the players, they just didn't believe in the system itself. Maybe they didn't believe in the coaching staff, and some of them didn't believe in their fellow players. So that's why, just like you saying, some of them was out there collecting, you know, just collecting their checks. Some of them were preserving their fair, so that when the season's over with, they can get off the team and go to and find another team that they feel that they can continue their career in.
yeah, and I think that the way that they have built this team this year, the way that they have built this team this year, it's going to be easy to see where the problems are. I think it's going to be very apparent. Um, it's just going to be it's just going to be a matter of players not getting it down, right? Not getting the steam,
Hmm.
not putting in the effort, not getting along with the other players. Like it's going to be very easy to figure out the problems and root the problems out. And it's kind of cool if we think about the position that we were in. Because if we look at it, let's say 5 to 10 years from now, let's say that they really do build a dynasty, and we go on and we start winning a bunch of games, we become relevant, maybe we win a Super Bowl, um, and we build a dynasty or even close to it. The
Hmm.
history that Sully will make, it'll be
Hmm.
it'll be a storyline. It'll be a movie one day. You'll see them making movies about these next couple years in the Miami Dolphins.
Hmm.
Because if it does work out, like they literally turned an organization that hasn't won in almost 3 decades, like this completely crappy situation, having to pay a quarterback $200 million for
Hmm.
nothing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
They have the
Yeah.
opportunity to make history.
Hmm. Yeah.
The rain is starting to pick back up.
Oh, still not fast. Oh. Yeah, so let's give these guys a chance. Let's give the coaching staff and these players a chance and what have you. And my biggest thing is that, with the coaching staff, do your best at developing these players and and putting them in the right position to grow and be at their best and what have. That's all I ask. Don't I hate to see players um talented players come in and we don't use them the way that they should be, that we won't put them in positions where they can be successful, and then they go off to another team and that team puts them in the right position and they blow up. So that's something I want to see less of. I know you can't really stop it, but I want to see less of that. I want to see develop these and just like you said earlier, Cat, this is the NFL, and with the players coming out the draft, they have to make that adjustment to the NFL. Some will do it, and some may not do it. So it's just all a matter of waiting to see. But the ones who do make that adjustment, please utilize their talents to their fullest. Don't put them in the positions um where they're not going to do well and hurt our team.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think these are the right guys in the job. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go play the song for the crowds. I don't know if you checked out the song that I had put together for the rookies on the team, but I'll be back in a few minutes if you want to stick around.
Okay.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Yo, we hitting the pick, #1 on the board. Cat and Proctor, the Titan, that's who we adore. From the Alabama soil where the legends grow tall. A mountain of muscle, a wall for the ball. Then it's Chris Johnson, a DB, the island is locked. Out in San Diego where the defense was rocked. Pick 158, that's a steal in the light. A lockdown assassin, a shadow in flight. Then the second round, Rodriguez, the Red Raider soul. Texas Tech Heat, yeah, he's taking control. A linebacker beast with a nose for the play. He's bringing that love Bach thunder our way. Peace to the Finns, yeah, we building the brand. The baddest new brothers in all of the land. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, hear the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making a howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line. Everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Weathering the storm, yeah, you heard? Caleb Douglas, Will Cack, Merrick Chris Bell too. Texas Tech speed in the Ohio State view. Louisville Lightning, yeah, the receivers are deep. While the league is just dreaming, we staying out of sleep. Trey Moore, the edge rusher, Texas on the blade. Coming for the quarterback, watch how he's played. Kyle Lewis, the LB from Pittsburgh to the Heat. Michael Toff, the safety, making the secondary complete. 5th round fever, we finding the gold. Seidel Troa, the TE, the story untold. Coleman Jr. and Campbell, Missouri to the heart. DJ on the guard, yeah, we tearing the charts. Max Llewellyn, the defensive end from the west. Iowa power, yeah, he's passing the test. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, hear the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making the howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line, everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Yeah, weathering the storm, word up. Word up, aqua and orange for real. 2026, the year of the deal. Proctor Johnson, Road Dre's, the whole squad, making it happen against all the odds. Peace to the South Beach, peace to the Fins. This is where the new dynasty begins. One love, word up, we out.
What's that now?
I said we about to pull a Pete Steak here for a minute, right? We might as well, right? We might as well think about the hypotheticals. Oh, shit. Oh, that should getting some good smoke in there right now. We might as well think about the hypotheticals, right? So what if it does work out? And what if it works out like year one? Because that's not impossible. It's not improbable. Like, is it difficult? Yes. Am I saying that it's hard? Yes, it is. But it's not impossible that it actually works, right? They come out in year one, they completely turn it around. We've seen it happen to many other teams. Hell, it happened as recent as last year with the New England Patriots, right? Going from 3-14 to a 14-3 team. What if it does work out? Got Malik Willis out there looking good, throwing for 4,000 yards, rushing for 700 yards, has a total 36 touchdowns on like 6 interceptions. Phenomenal year. We go, let's say we go 12-5, hit the wild card, win the wild card game, lose in the divisional round. Hell, let's keep going, winning in the divisional round. Where does that put us in the off season in 2026, going into the 2027 season? Like what if at that point, like we have that kind of season, and then Malik Willis goes and pulls a Tua and tries to demand a bank? What should we do?
That's a good one. Because that's going to depend on how much cap we have. After the season's over with, next season, it depends on the cap, how much cap we have. And then as far as the draft goes, man, that's a very good question. Because if everything pans out real well with Malik, the good thing is we still have, when he was here, they may still go and get but you not gonna be able to do that. So I started to say you still gonna be able to go get a quarterback out of the draft next season. But the thing is, if we do that well, we might not be able to get a good quarterback. We might have to still get a development quarterback.
Exactly. So it puts us in hell of a spot, right? If it works out and we go and we get 11, 12 wins, we're sitting there getting draft pick number 20 to 26. You know what I mean? All the good quarterbacks are going to be gone by that time, because how many teams we know are going for quarterbacks next year? We got Arizona's going to be going for a quarterback again. We got the Jets going to be going for a quarterback. We got Atlanta most likely is going to end up wanting to go for a quarterback, because we already know 2 is not the answer. 10x is not the answer. Who else? If Jackson Dart keeps getting concussions and going in the direction that he's going, and he doesn't change his game up a little bit this year, Giants could be looking for a quarterback.
Browns
Browns could be looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, that's
all of these teams that we mentioned are going to be ahead of us.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong for saying this. I think with Sully and Halfley, they're saying, I think they were saying they're going to try to draft a quarterback, um, and each year. Oh well, oh boy, like I said, that's a mm,
Yeah, they said they were going to draft one each year and or every other year until they found the guy. But
mm,
they said that going into this draft, and they didn't really draft a quarterback. They ended up picking one up off UDFA, but that's
right.
not drafting one.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So who's to
Yeah,
say they end up drafting one next year? But I
exactly.
think I think that being in the Miami Dolphin organization, um, I feel like they would have a good advantage in that situation. Like if Malik were to try and ask for a bankroll, they would have the leverage to be like, look, like we already did that once before with a quarterback. Like we're gonna have to see you do it again. Like we technically got you on a 3-year contract, so it's like come out here and give us the same performance again next year, and then we'll readdress this contract situation if you want to get more money.
Right. Exactly. Because we definitely don't want to go down that tour road that like we just did. We don't want to go down for that because we still paying for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't want us to get fooled if Malik Willis, because like if Malik Willis comes out and has a good year, like who's to say that that's going to be sustainable?
Hmm.
Like he could end up having one good year, and then next year in 2027 end up going back to the Malik Willis that we saw in Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I
Mm,
think that's that. I think I think that was what made that 3-year contract
hmm.
valuable because it
Right.
gives them that extra year before having to actually make a long-term decision. Because had they assigned a 2-year contract, right, next
Mm,
year he could demand a contract and we would have to make a decision on whether to extend him or not. But since it's a 3rd year, it gives us that extra leeway.
yeah. The
So it's
leverage.
so these guys really know what they're doing. If you look at the fine tooth detail of all the moves that they've made, they've all been super strategic because it's like we look at the Malik Willis situation. It's like, yeah, it seems like we're paying him a lot of money, considering we don't really know what we get. Because it's like you on one end you can say it's not a lot of money, right? $20 million a year for a quarterback.
Mm,
Okay, so if you're paying a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes $20 million a year, that's not a lot of money, right? But let's say you're paying Geno Smith $20 million a year. Do you think that's a lot of money?
that's too much money for him.
Exactly. So it depends on what end of the spectrum the quarterback falls on, whether that's a lot of money or not. So we could end up getting him for a steal, or we could end up not, but we're not tied down to him. But why it's a win-win for the Dolphins is because we can look at it one of two ways. If he goes out there and he tanks next season and he just sucks ass next season, we
Hmm.
get to tank like Happy Evelyn said. We'll have the top pick next year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
we'll know that Malik Willis isn't the guy. We move on, we end the contract, and we move on, and we draft a guy for the future. But if he
Mm,
works out, then we have one extra year before having to restructure his contract, make him go out there, do it year after year, so that we know that the consistency is going to be there before we make any more long-term decisions on a quarterback.
exactly. Yeah. So that man, you're right about that. That's a very good move. And then the other impressive thing with me is that with the majority of the the free agents we brought in, we got them on the 1 year prove it draft. So that's gonna really put fire under them to say, you know what, I got a chance to be on a team where I can come in and compete and be and ball out. I can or I should, well, let me say it like this: I can revive my career and ball out, and maybe try to get a contract deal done or what have you. So it just make it more competitive for it creates a competitive environment which we haven't had in a while. So
A hundred
yeah,
percent, a hundred
yeah,
percent.
yeah, and and
Yeah,
and
no.
and And then here's the other spectrum of Malik. Just like you said, now if things don't work out this season, okay, the good. I will say this, and this gonna sound crazy. If things don't work out this season, if he gets hurt, God forbid, if he gets hurt, or he just doesn't do well with as far as the season go right now, and this gonna make Pete happy. We got Quinn Hughes who we can put in and see what we have and what have you. So, you know, with me, I'm like I said, with me, I'm okay with what they done so far.
Yeah, I trust the process. Like,
Mm,
and if we go and we continue to dive deep into the strategic moves that they're making, the 1 year contracts is another strategic move because, like you pointed out, it brings out the competition, right? Because not nobody here is solidified as a starter from what it seems like. Everybody's on a 1 year deal, on a 1 year prove it deal. Sully likes to say that everybody here is chasing a carrot,
mm,
basically for that exact reason, like you were saying, like they could either revive their career or they could start their career here. So it's like everybody is playing for their next contract.
that's it.
They're all on 1 year deals. So it's like if you don't go out there and perform, the next team, we're probably not going to re-sign you, and the next team is probably not going to want to sign you either. So you got to come out
Mm,
here and you got to do well. You got to perform in order to get that bankroll, in order to get that paycheck. I
exactly.
do have extra food. I do have extra food, Happy Evelyn. We got all kinds of. We got a pork right here getting smoked, almost done. She's almost done. She's been smoking for about 2.5 hours so far. However long we've been live, I don't know how long we've been live, but been smoking the whole time.
Mm,
I'll pull it off here shortly, and oh, it'll be so good. But yeah, we in South Florida. I'm not going to tell you exact locations. I don't need any stalkers yet. My wife would kill you.
mm,
I'm not even joking.
yeah. Yeah, because I'm in South Florida too, and just the same way I don't really reveal exactly where I'm live at as well, because with the way the world is today, you have to really be careful. So now I'm with you on that, cat.
I say that, but like I do plan on in the future, I do plan on holding events, like as the AFC Eastie Boys in certain areas,
Mm,
like at tailgates and shit like that. In the future, I do plan on holding some events, and of course, everybody will be invited to those.
mm.
Um, but yeah, we grilling at the house right now, so if you want to give me your address, you can DM it to me in the Discord. I'll mail it to you.
What's that
Uh,
now?
No, I was talking to Happy Evelyn. I was joking
Oh,
around.
happy hour. Oh, oh,
If,
okay.
if she wanted to send her Addy, I would mail her some food,
Hmm. Okay. Yeah.
DoorDash it or something.
Hmm.
But actually, I got a 15-year-old teenager, so there might not be any leftovers.
Yeah.
He eats everything.
Yeah, and especially when you're doing food on the grill, man. That's one of the best ways to cook food. A majority of food on that grill. Meat,
Oh,
vegetables. Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah.
100%. So do you go to any of the games, Mr. Polk? Have you been to any?
No, no, I haven't because of right now I have bone in my left knee, so I can't do a lot of walking and standing. So that's why I haven't really been to games. But I will say this, and this gonna sound crazy. As long as I got a big screen TV in front of me, I'm all right. And no, it's not. I know it's not the same as being there because you get to meet. I can end up meeting guys like yourself and um and some of the other Dolphin fans and what have you. But like I said, physically right now I'm not able to do it. Maybe down the road, if things improve, then I may um start showing up at a game or so, or what have
Word. Hell yeah, yeah. It's nice watching it at home, or like sometimes I'll go to the bar and stuff like on Monday nights, but I don't have ESPN.
Hmm.
So I go to a bar on Monday nights to watch it. But yeah, I just love being in the environment of the live action
Hmm.
at the stadium. Like, especially being a fan like I am, bro. There's no better experience. But I totally understand because like my dad, he's not great. Like his health isn't great either. And like I tried taking him to the Pittsburgh Steeler game a couple
Hmm.
years ago,
Hmm.
because he's a Steeler fan.
Hmm.
And like he was having a rough time having to walk that whole way, like go up over the turnpike and walk into the stadium from yellow parking. It is quite a walk. There's a lot of walking involved for sure. And it's still hot too. Like that was a day game,
Oh.
so it was like during the day, so it was hot outside.
Hmm.
Um, but for me this year, so like I didn't renew my membership, but I still have credit with them, so I can go to a couple games. I'll be able to go to a couple games.
Uh-huh.
Don't know which games I want to go to yet. I'm waiting for the schedule to come out. Like they already messaged me, asking like what games I want to go to. I'm like, hit me back once the schedule comes out, and then I'll let you know. Um, because I'll probably end up going to like if we have any primetime games at home, I'll go to
Hmm.
those. Because then I
Oh,
get to use it as date night with the wifey.
right. Right. Yep. I can understand that for sure. Yeah.
And plus, some of the primetime games, you can get the opportunity to meet some people too. I know we had Jelly Roll was there, like one of those Monday night games we had. He was
Hmm.
down there in the fan zone. Um, so a lot of people, if they got there early enough, they could have got autographs and pictures and stuff with Jelly Roll. Because they
Hmm.
have the Applebee's show
Right.
before Monday Night Football. They have the Applebee's show, and it like they set it up down there in the fan zone.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's
Yeah,
good.
I gave up my season tickets to Happy Ever, and I had to, man. It was just like paying too much money for such bad products. It was ridiculous. Like I couldn't justify it anymore. It was like I enjoyed going down there, but it's like, bro, I'm paying this much money for them to put out this kind of product, and like last year, it was so bad going to the games. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Like it was hard, and I'm the type of fan. It's like on defense, I'm loud. I get up. I hype up my section. I was always in section 349. Like I hype up my section. We get loud. We're clapping. We're stomping. We're yelling, screaming. But like it's like, bro, some of those games, it's like, bro, what am I even doing, man? What am I even doing?
I hear that. I can understand that for sure. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. But yep. But going back to what I said earlier, I'm just, I'm a Miami Dolphin for life, and now I'm well, I might as well say it, since we dropped tour and made some changes, I'm feeling a little happier and a little more optimistic. So that's just like I said, I'm looking forward to the season to start, to see some football. You know, mostly with our Miami Dolphins, but also I love football. Period. NFL, college. I've been watching the UFL also, so Canadian football when I get a chance. I just enjoy football. Period. I love it, and
Yeah,
I'm catching up on it because I spent a lot of years working days and hours where I wasn't able to keep up with the game like I used to when I was younger. So now I have a lot of learning and catching up to do.
I was the same way, Mr. Paul. Like I had gotten to a point. I think it was like I had hit I had hit like 16 or 17, and like so the life that I grew up, I grew up a lot. I had a difficult life growing up. So I
Hmm.
had to start working super early.
Hmm.
By like 16, I technically was working at 14. So like my first job, 16, 17, started getting it, and I had to get it. 100% had to get it. Um, helping my parents pay bills, things like that. So I didn't have a lot of time for football and stuff either. I remember through the years having to constantly work. Um, Finally, like I get into a kitchen spot, I'm a little bit more comfortable, and like I'm starting to. This is where I'm like starting to have like phones play games playing on my phone because technology also back in the day wasn't as like it didn't help, right? If you had to work, like
Right.
the technology just wasn't there for us to keep up with football. Like we didn't have
Exactly.
streaming, so it's like you couldn't just go back and rewatch a game or anything like that. Like you had to be there to watch it live, you
Mhm.
know. So it's kind of I'm glad that technology has helped us out, you know, because like it got to a point where like, oh, now I can actually watch games while I'm working. So I'd be sitting there on the line and like have the game on the line like while I'm sitting there cooking and shit, you know. And it's like
Mhm.
boss walks up and I'm like, you're just gonna have to deal with it, boss. Like,
Yeah.
and then eventually I got to the point where I literally changed my career around so that I can have Sundays off and watch football and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I started doing that toward just before I retired. Started changing, had changed career to where I can be off on the weekends and what have you. And you know, one thing you touched on is absolutely right. Back in the day, we didn't. There was no such thing as YouTube or TikTok or X or any of those social medias where you can jump on there and hang out with Miami Dolphin fans from all over the country and all over the world. So it was like with me being a child Dolphin fan, it was hard because the only way I would get information about the team was to wait until I watch the news and hopefully when the sports come on, they'll say, you know, some things about the team, about the Miami Dolphins, or you pick up the local newspaper and go to the sports section and see what they say about the team. So you didn't get the information like we getting today. So all those who are of today's generation, man, you know you're blessed because look at all the YouTube podcasts, look at the Dolphins podcast on other social medias and what have you. And I'm telling you, be thankful for it and enjoy it and make the best of it.
Yeah, 100%. I honestly wish that I was in a different position growing up, like, because I always wanted to like stream and stuff early. I was just never in a position to do it, and hadn't been. Ooh, yeah, well, now I am though, and that's what we do. We here talking football,
Yep, exactly, exactly. Yeah,
and we
that's
almost
real.
at 500 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. So help us out, help us get to that 500 mark. Because once we do get to that 500 mark, we got this going out to one lucky viewer for show, and we're gonna have lots more giveaways going on as well. So help us out. Share it with a friend, share it with a coworker, share it with anybody you know that might like football. And it's not just Dolphin football around here. We do talk all football. We just talking Dolphins today because I do like the Dolphins. They are my favorite.
Same here. Same here. Talk
But if
about our
somebody
favorite.
from another team wanted to come up here and talk about their team, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, you can join the Discord. The link is in the description, or you can find it on our profile page as well. Go ahead and join the Discord. If you're new to the Discord, you'll have to send me a DM or send Waffles a DM so that we can give you access to the panel to be able to come up here and speak your mind.
Yeah, that is true. Make that move. Let's have some fun.
Well, I think the wife is going to be here soon. She gets off soon,
Mhm.
or she's probably already off and on her way. This pork, this pork butt's about done.
Yep, he's
And
on
we've
that
been
way.
going, yeah, we've been going for 3 hours, so it should be about done.
Yep. Well, I was about to get ready to go anyway because I gotta go warm me up something for dinner because I don't like to eat too late myself. Yeah, but
Word.
it it was a pleasure hanging out with you, Cat in the Hat. Cap, it was good to see you up here a little earlier.
Yeah, appreciate you stopping by, Cap. Speaking your mind. Champ, what's up, Champ? Always rolling in through the end. But yeah, so definitely be on the lookout for us here in the coming future. Not next weekend, but probably the weekend afterwards. We'll have some film and some notes and stuff for you guys regarding all of our rookies that we drafted in the 2026 draft. So that'll be exciting to go through and kind of look what they're capable of. And look what we got forward. Look what we have to look forward to in the 2026 season. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we don't our wins and losses isn't what matters, right? It's what matters this year is building our culture, establishing our locker room, and finding out who's going to be the team of the future. Not about the wins and losses, ladies and gentlemen. We can turn losses into wins. Remember that. As Dolphin fans this year, we can turn losses into wins. Let's not beat up our Dolphins if they mess up, because now another thing with technology, ladies and gentlemen, it's way more accessible. That includes to these players too, man. So the way that we act sometimes and the things that we can say on the internet sometimes might have a direct impact on how these players perform.
For real.
So
That's for real. Yeah.
so let's make sure that we're rooting our guys on this year. Fins up for life. I'm gonna leave y'all with the song, and then yeah, we're gonna get out of here. And I'm gonna show the picture of this pork butt we got over here. I'll show it in the Discord. So make sure y'all go smash that link and join our Discord. Trust me, you're not gonna regret it. You're not gonna regret it, because if you're the one that wins this Mike Gesicki autograph photo, if you're the lucky winner, you got to be plugged into the Discord so I can get your info and get it sent out to you.
There you go.
But yeah,
All right, Cat.
hey, Mr. Paul, have a great day, bro.
You have a great one too, and enjoy your dinner.
Hey, thank you, man. You too, man. And everyone else out there, hope y'all have a wonderful day. It's up for life. Let's go.
That's right.
Yo, we hitting the pick, #1 on the board. Cat and Proctor, the Titan, that's who we adore. From the Alabama soil where the legends grow tall. A mountain of muscle, a wall for the ball. Then it's Chris Johnson, a DB, the island is locked. Out in San Diego where the defense was rocked. Pick 158, that's a steal in the light. A lockdown assassin, a shadow in flight. Then the second round, Rodriguez, the Red Raider soul. Texas Tech heat, yeah, he's taking control. A linebacker beast with a nose for the play. He's bringing that love Bach thunder our way. Peace to the Finns, yeah, we building the brand. The baddest new brothers in all of the land. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, here the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the Sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making a howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line. Everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Weathering the storm, yeah, you heard? Caleb Douglas, Will Cack, Merrick Chris Bell too. Texas Tech speed in the Ohio State view. Louisville Lightning, yeah, the receivers are deep. While the league is just dreaming, we staying out of sleep. Trey Moore, the edge rusher, Texas on the blade. Coming for the quarterback, watch how he's played. Kyle Louis, the LB from Pittsburgh to the Heat. Michael Toff, the safety, making the secondary complete. 5th round fever, we finding the gold. Seidel Troa, the TE, the story untold. Coleman Jr. and Campbell, Missouri to the heart. DJ on the guard, yeah, we tearing the charts. Giants. Max Llewellyn, the defensive end from the West. Iowa power, yeah, he's passing the test. It's that aqua and orange, the colors of kings. Feel the bass in the trunk, here the way to be swings. New blood in the water, yeah, the Sharks on the prowl. Miami's most wanted, they making the howl. From the top of the draft to the end of the line, everything's clicking, yeah, everything's fine. Welcome to the crib, fam, the legend is born. We taking the crown, yeah, we weathering the storm. Yeah, weathering the storm, word up. Word up, aqua and orange for real. 2026, the year of the deal. Proctor, Johnson, Road Dre's, the whole squad, making it happen against all the odds. Peace to the South Beach, peace to the Fins. This is where the new dynasty begins. One love, word up, we out.